a Monday after an incredible weekend. It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. I'm Jason Minix. Glad to have you along on this Monday. Man, do we have a lot to get into today. Cowboys win big last night with Cooper Rush. I'm glad I was wrong about Cooper Rush. Glad I was wrong about Jeff Traylor. He is staying. Well, at least he signed a 10-year contract worth $28 million. I've been saying, dude, I wouldn't blame the guy if he left. I wanted him to stay. But as a coach in this kind of business, you have to strike while the iron is hot. Well, you know what? UTSA, they struck while the iron is hot. I did not think UTSA would come up with that kind of cash, not only for Jeff Traylor, but for his assistants and the overall program. That was a huge commitment from UTSA that if they weren't moving to the American Athletic Conference and the revenue that's going to come with that, they would not have been able to do this. Even then, I was shocked that they did, and I'm thrilled. Because you look at where UTSA is at right now, ranked number 16 in the country. They're going to play on ESPN2 Saturday night against UTEP. You look at where this program is. It's at a level in 11 years that not many of us thought could happen. Not this fast. I remember the day UTSA hired Larry Coker. And they had a football team without a schedule. And I said then, the UTSA football program was more relevant nationally than that of the Texas State Bobcats. They hadn't even played a game yet, but they went out and they hired Larry Coker. And you think about what Lynn Hickey and her vision was when this program got started. You fast forward 11 years. You've got a coach that is going to be the highest paid group of 5 coach on the planet until the next guy gets signed. But at least today, he is. You've got a program ranked in the top 25. Meanwhile, up the road in San Marcos, their new athletic director is sending out apology letters because they got spanked over the weekend, and they're doing everything they can. It is amazing what UTSA has done. It is a very special time to be a college football fan in San Antonio. You look at the commitment that UTSA has made to athletics and to Jeff Traylor. And with a 10-year contract, Jeff Traylor making a commitment to San Antonio and to keep this thing going. I don't know where Texas Tech turns now because he was their number one option. He was their guy. Then TCU goes and fires Gary Patterson. Well, Sonny Dykes is, he was number 2 on the list for Texas Tech, moved up to number 1 when Jeff Traylor signed a 10-year deal with a $7.5 million buyout. So, for the record, it wouldn't be much for one of these other programs to buy out that $7.5 million. But I think that Jeff Traylor made that commitment. I'd be surprised at this point if he did jump later this year or even next year. I thought he would go this year when, that kind of life-changing money is thrown at you. And like I said, I didn't know UTSA had that in the couch cushions. But an incredible day. And now you look at TCU. I was a little surprised they fired Gary Patterson middle of the season. All the ups and downs they've been through. But they realize whoever was on their short list, excuse me, and I've heard it was, Traylor might have been, on their short list of jobs too. They had to make the move before Texas Tech could. I don't know what either of those two teams do. It'll be fun to watch over the next couple of days. Houston Astros, man, they stay alive. I was on an airplane last night flying back from Phoenix. Had the NFL games going on the iPad. baseball on my phone. Grand slam in the first inning. I almost threw my phone on that Southwest flight. Oh, it was because I'm sitting there holding it, and he hit it, and I almost lost control. I'm glad there was no turbulence at the time, at least not on the outside of the plane. But, you know, it's funny when you're flying at night like that, and there's big events happening, and Southwest has the free TV. So you could tell throughout the different pockets of the plane when things happen and the little delays, because you can, even with headphones, hear the groans and the roars when people score and that sort of thing. Interesting stuff. Astros stay alive, Game 6 tomorrow, and you can catch that right here on San Antonio Sports Star. In fact, you can pregame with us. We're going to be live tomorrow out at Tri-County Meat Market, their Hebner Road location. Now, you think about a Tuesday at Tri-County Meat Market. They're going to have all kinds of things set up in the parking lot. Our friend Alonzo from Gulf Coast Smoke, he's going to be there with his pick going, sampling some products. I don't know what they're going to cook yet, but Gulf Coast Smoke is going to be there. This guy named Al Fragani, if I'm saying it right, he's got this open fire grilling technique. He's from Argentina, and so it's kind of a blend between Argentinian and Texas barbecue, but the pits this man creates are incredible. It's open fire. It looks like stuff that you're going to see on TV shows. He's going to be in the parking lot. He also has a great chimichurri sauce, by the way, if you're looking for something to go like a steak or a tri-tip. He's going to be out there. And then K4, who does some of the pre-made stuff that they sell there at Tri-County, like the twice-baked potatoes, which are incredible. So we're going to have lots of food sampling tomorrow at Tri-County Meat Market, the Hebner Road location. So make sure you come by and see us tomorrow from 4 to 7, because you can pick yourself up something, take it home, put it on the grill, and be ready to go for Astros-Braves Game 6. The Astros stay alive last night, and not many can survive a grand slam going against you in an elimination game, and then having whatever it is inside of you to come back and win that game. That was incredible. I just wish there was not an off day today. I really wish. You know, you have that kind of momentum. You don't want to get on a plane and change cities. The Astros, you know, they've got to win. They got to win, too. My Astros in 6 is gone, but Astros in 7. And I see on my Facebook memories, it was 4 years ago today that they clinched their first ever World Series. That was 4 years ago. Hopefully this week we get another celebration like that. James Pledger was celebrating over the weekend, but he made it into work today. I was out in Phoenix, Pledge, so I missed the big Roo Pub party.
You did.
But apparently razors were a thing out there, because I see you are now dressed as a 12-year-old, and Rob Thompson also lost all of his facial hair. I put on halftime earlier as Michael Jimenez debuted as the new host of our noon to 2 show, and I at first, because the way my setup is here, I put it on, but the sound wasn't coming through because I realized I had to unplug something and hit this button and that button, and I was trying to figure out who the hell was in there with Jimenez. It was Rob, and then I'm looking at you going, man, what are we going back to the 90s? What the hell, dude?
To be fair, I shave like this every once in a while. Like, it's been a while for Rob. Rob looks like a completely different person.
You know, when Rob Thompson first started with us here at ESPN San Antonio, he had no facial hair. So all the first photos that we did for the website and whatnot, he didn't have a beard. But he quickly realized going to work every day and shaving every day sucked. So he grew out his beard. So for years, we would take new photos, but somehow they would never make the website, right? But now he's shaving again.
Time for new pictures.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's one thing to shave for Halloween, because then you roll right into no shave November, and it all comes right back. Is that your plan, or are you going to stay as a 12-year-old? I mean,
no,
honestly,
it's coming back.
Is Edwin still hanging out in there?
No, he's gone.
Edwin's gone. I mean, honestly, you and Edwin running things, and with you not shaving, the only thing you need to do is do your hair again with
blonde
the
hair?
Frosty tips. Yeah, and you'd look like your old Smith and Valley days. I mean,
know.
You're going to get carded everywhere you go.
It's terrifying how little I've aged in the grand scheme of everything.
I'm a big fan of half of a peace sign. And I think everybody right now, as you say that, whether you're watching, whether you are just listening and pledge, feel free to give him half of a peace sign. And I'm not talking about holding up the number one finger. I'm just saying, because Rob looks fine without a beard.
He looks
weird.
He
just acts like he's walking around naked, like his robe is open or something.
He looks weird, man.
See, that's it. You say he looks weird. I didn't think so. When I saw his Halloween costume, when he tried to go as Ted Lasso. And by the way, I thought he nailed Ted Lasso. He looked weird with just a mustache. Either go full beard Rob or completely shaven. But that dude is not a mustache wearer. He can't go with just a mustache. That's not a good look for Rob.
By the way, Jonathan C. on our YouTube live feed, bunch of other listeners actually came out and said what's up out at the Rue Pub Halloween party on Saturday.
Cool. Very cool.
So it was really cool to get to meet all those guys out this weekend.
How did they recognize you?
I don't know.
Were you wearing a sign that says "I am Pledger, buy me a beer"?
I should. I really should. It would have saved my bar tab.
I mean, honestly, I don't know if I haven't seen a whole lot of photos from the Rue Pub Halloween party, which means either you weren't in any condition to pull out your phone and take a picture, or the pictures you did take, you decided there's too much incriminating evidence there. And you know what? I'm the same. Where I was out on Saturday night for Halloween, I couldn't take any photos either.
Got one little video. That was it.
And it was of the sky in the second story, because what was going on down there, I would have just looked like the creepy old man. I mean, my goodness. Old Town, Scottsdale, for Halloween is
you've said enough.
That's all I can say. I mean, it's not where you want to go with your college-age daughter. I can tell you that. It's a little uncomfortable, or your wife. I'm just saying. And granted, what was strange is while there were plenty of girls that clearly did not walk past their dads as they were leaving the house, I think there are a lot of sons doing the same thing. I mean, it was you take like Bourbon Street, 6th Street, and Broadway in Nashville, and you put them all into Old Town Scottsdale, and partly because the weather is always so nice out there. Yeah, there was all kinds of things going on there that I'm just saying. I had a great night. It was a lot of fun in a place that I shouldn't have been, and a place that I probably wouldn't have chosen to go if it were up to me. And a whole lot of. Did you see that?
I'm surprised your costume didn't have sunglasses.
Might have some bruises on my arms. But here's the thing. They want you to look. That's why they're wearing it.
They want you. You were with a couple of people that didn't, though.
I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, it was when you're the old guy in the room, and your wife and my sister-in-law showed up. She was out there because it was Arizona State against Washington State. Rudolph Renee, Arizona was the hot spot for Girls Gone Wild. Now I've seen that.
And
everything in that. Yeah, was it really? Because I always thought. I knew some was there in South Padre.
South Padre was there a little bit, but Arizona was the hot spot.
I'm telling you, it was.
Still is.
And Arizona State, by the way, kind of piece of crap football game was that? I mean, you're playing Washington State. They fired their coach. Yeah. They turned the ball over on their first 4 possessions. I mean, they didn't even make it a game until the second half. I love Herm Edwards as a dude, but that is one of the most undisciplined football programs I've seen. Now, it's one thing when you watch them on TV and you hear all the penalties and you see some of the turnovers. But when you just watch them play and you see some of the stuff that's going on that doesn't always show up on TV, that is an undisciplined football team. Big time undisciplined football team from Arizona State. So, I was out at that on Saturday, and then
maybe
yesterday,
they were looking forward to Old Town.
It's possible. I mean, it's possible. I did not see any of the football players in Old Town afterwards. Not that I would recognize a lot of football players, but let's face it, when the football players go out, you could tell that's the football team, right? I didn't see that because here's the thing in Phoenix or Arizona State, which is technically Tempe. They've got Mill Street, which is a crazy drunken row of bars to begin with. And Mill Street's a lot of fun, right? And that's right on campus. Then you have Scottsdale, which is a $42 Uber ride to Old Town and somehow $78 on the way back. Just saying. But it's I think it's about 25 minutes away. And so I don't know if the football players went there. I know some of the football players that live in my daughter's apartment complex, it looked like they were having a party there at the complex because there might have been some pre-gaming going on that we saw that. A friend of mine, Mr. Hood, just said Mill Avenue, bro. Yeah, see, and that's the thing. Friday night, I was on Mill Avenue. Saturday night, we went to Scottsdale. And it's a bleep show. I can tell you that. All of it. I just knew that I ended up at a place, if you know Phoenix, and if you've ever gone to spring training, they've got a great bar out there called the Dirty Dog Saloon. Chuck Mikatinik introduced me to the Dirty Dog Saloon many years ago on a spring training trip. I left Old Town, and I went to the Dirty Dog late, like 12:30, and finished my night there. That is much more my speed. All of it, because you can only handle so much, right? Fun times out in Phoenix, though. That is a good place to go. Mill Street, Old Town. I'm so glad I did not send my kid out there for undergrad. I'm just gonna say that. So Rue Pub was good. You shaved. You didn't win the Halloween costume contest.
Nope.
Did Rob
much
win
like
his?
I thought. There were just better assets that won.
I understand. I haven't seen photos, but I'm not surprised. And Rob won his Ted Lasso. I heard him saying on R&R this morning that he was disappointed that nobody knew who he was.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of surprised because I saw thousands of Ted Lassos in Phoenix. And honestly, I think Rob would have won the Ted Lasso contest. I mean, seriously, I think Rob nailed the Ted Lasso because I saw a lot of bad Ted Lassos and the couples that were trying to do the whole bit with, but I thought Rob nailed Ted Lasso. I was surprised and disappointed that none of his friends knew he was Ted Lasso, which tells me he needs new friends. Because if you're not down with Ted Lasso and you don't just see it and get the references, you're missing out.
Here's the thing. Even if you don't watch it, Ted Lasso is such pop culture relevant right now. You don't even have to watch the show to know it.
Well, I mean, I'm not the biggest pop culture guy. So I know it because you guys talked me into finally watching it, and I fell in love with it. So I don't ever get mad at people if they're not down with all the different pop culture references. Because, that would have been me not long ago. Although now that I'm into Ted Lasso, I would think that, I think Rob did good on his contest. Nobody got me as Herm Edwards. I did get one Bobby Hurley. You Bobby Hurley? Yep, I'll go with that. I'll take that. The basketball coach, and he didn't lose on Saturday like Herm Edwards, so I was good with that. Anyway, we got a lot to get into on this Monday, the day after Halloween. Hope you have lots of candy. I know Pledge was at my house over the weekend because all my candy corn is gone except for like 4 pieces. So you must have had candy corn every time you came over to let the dog out.
Yep.
That is the only reason why that candy dish is almost empty. But what you didn't do is bring any candy. And, of course, our flight was delayed out of Phoenix. So instead of getting home in plenty of time to watch the full Cowboys game and have trick-or-treaters, we missed it all. So I still have a whole bunch of Almond Joys here that I'll just end up either bringing to the office and let somebody throw them away there or just throw them away because I didn't get a chance to give out bad candy. But I did get to see enough of the Cowboys game. I was in my living room by halftime. So by the time we watch what's available to you on the airplane and you get to halftime, which timing of it was perfect from get off the plane and get in the car, there's about 4 minutes left in the first half. And then in the living room for the entire second half. And just really an incredible game by Cooper Rush. An incredible game by Cooper Rush, who quite frankly, he played far better than I think most of us thought he would. Because in preseason action, he hasn't done much to give you a lot of confidence. But with the offensive line being what it was, although Tyron Smith certainly was not healthy, Ty Nsekhe plays a lot in that game. And why La'el Collins stayed on the sideline, I have no idea. When you're going with Steele and Nsekhe as your tackles with a Collins sitting over there seemingly ready to go. But Cooper Rush was comfortable. We've been around Cooper Rush enough at Cowboys camp and at Super Bowls and whatnot. I mean, he doesn't seem like a guy that's going to get overly excited, and certainly that calm demeanor paid off.
It wasn't crazy. I felt like I belonged out there. You're in the huddle, breaking the huddle, getting to the line, and going through your processes. It didn't feel overwhelming at all. And I think, I haven't played a lot, but, being around the NFL, you're practicing against those guys every day, and our defense is pretty good. Some real good players. You're going against those guys every day. It's not like you're not seeing things. So it never felt, too big in terms of the speed or I just felt like in command. Playing with those guys that I get to play with out there on you just go down the list, O-line, running back, receiver. It makes my job a lot easier.
Well, and that helps. But you know what? He didn't make crucial mistakes. The one interception was bad. Pollard misses a block. He gets leveled, loses a fumble. But outside of that, I thought he played extremely well. And that drive to win it, you go, 75 yards? Everybody is talking about the touchdown catch and then the bobble catch that Amari Cooper had. The bobble catch was incredible. The touchdown throw and catch, both incredible. The play of the game on that drive for me, 3rd and 11, after the weird delay of game against the Minnesota defense. 3rd and 11, Zeke Elliott splits 2 defenders and picks up a first down, puts the ball down at the 5-yard line. One play later, touchdown, Amari Cooper. I think that play by Zeke was the play of the game. We've given Zeke a lot of crap for the last year and a half. And when I say we, talk radio types, Twitter, whatnot, break a tackle, get there, like the Tampa Bay game. How does he not break that tackle? That play last night and the way the Cowboys called that final drive, they were playing for the win, not overtime. And I appreciated Kellen Moore doing that because that also tells you the confidence they had in Cooper Rush. And the way that defense played the entire game, they weren't worried about going to overtime and losing. That Cowboys defense deserves a ton of credit. Minnesota goes down and scores on their first possession. And then on that drive, they converted a 3rd down play, like a 31-yard pass. That was the only 3rd down the Cowboys defense allowed the entire game. After that initial drive where they gave up a 3rd down conversion and a touchdown, rest of the game, they did not give up a 3rd down conversion to Minnesota, which is an incredible stat. They didn't give up another touchdown either. When you look down and you look at the stat sheet and you see 3rd downs, 1 of 13 for the Vikings, the home team, some piss-poor officiating in that game, I'm with you, Randy Gregory. You overcome all of that and get a win with Cooper Rush. Hell of a game for the Dallas Cowboys. We'll talk about it. Moose, The Moose, Daryl Johnston, 3-time Super Bowl champion. Mondays with the Moose. Daryl will join us coming up at 5:30. RJ Ochoa joins us at 5. We'll talk to Jeff Traylor, head coach of the UTSA Roadrunners. He joins us as he does every week at 6 o'clock. But coming up, we'll talk some college football with Peter Burns of the SEC Network. He joins us next here on the Blitz. Got to tell you, traveled all weekend, drank a lot, ate poorly. This morning, I had to have a good breakfast. Opened up the fridge, got those Kielbasa smoked meats, maple breakfast links. Had that as part of my breakfast today. They are available at select HEB stores. If you haven't tried them, you are missing out. These breakfast links are a little sweet, a little savory, totally delicious. Perfect as part of a nice weekend breakfast spread, or if you got a busy weekday morning or you know you're not the best cook, they come fully cooked. I put them in the microwave for 45 seconds, and they're perfect. You can put them in the pan, fry them up with some eggs. They are outstanding. Well, all you got to do is heat them up, and you have that great breakfast on your way to work. But I needed to start my day today with a great breakfast, and I did with those Kielbasa maple breakfast links. They're available at select HEB stores. If they're not at yours, tell the grocery manager to get them and then drive to the next HEB because they are certainly worth it. Make sure you go get yourself some Kielbasa today. Peter Burns joins us next right after Sports Center with James Fletcher.
Thanks a lot, Jason. In college football, the now 16th ranked UTSA Roadrunners in the AP Top 25 poll moved up substantially on their bye week, and they have also managed to extend head coach Jeff Traylor, who signed a 10-year, $28 million contract extension that runs through the 2031 season with a $7.5 million reported buyout, according to reports. It also includes a raise for his staff. In other college football news, the Aggies moved up to 13th in this week's AP poll. Despite being on the bye, the Texas Longhorns dropped their third straight game in which they led by double digits as they fell to now 14th-ranked Baylor, 31-24. The Texas Tech Red Raiders fell in Sonny Cumbie's interim head coaching debut, 52-21 to 4th-ranked Oklahoma. Incarnate Word beat Houston Baptist 49-21, and 19th-ranked Trinity beat Hendrix 62-13. In Major League Baseball, the Astros avoided elimination and survived a first-inning grand slam as they beat the Braves in Atlanta 9-5 as they now trail this best-of-7 series 3-2. Game 6 is tomorrow night back in Houston with first pitch set for 7:09, while the Dallas Cowboys won their 6th straight. This one without Dak as they beat the Vikings 20-16. I'm James Fletcher for San Antonio Sports Star.
ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
For nearly 30 years, Thomas J. Henry has fought day in and day out for every client we've had the honor of representing. In our town, in our community, we will always be the name you trust. Thomas J. Henry. Available 24/7 nights and weekends. San Antonio, Texas.
Our favorite season of the year at Diamonds Direct is right around the corner, and we can't wait to show you what we've got ready. Our showcases are filled with the best selection ever of exquisite jewelry. Rings, earrings, bracelets, bands, pendants, all the newest fashion jewelry, as well as those time-tested classics. We've carefully priced everything to ensure you get the guaranteed best value, regardless of your budget. And over the past few months, we've expanded our loose diamond selection, adding a special collection of large, rare diamonds, 3 carats and up. Rounds, princess cuts, cushion cuts, emerald cuts, perfect for that holiday diamond upgrade. We've also made arrangements with our premier designers to bring you jewelry you won't be able to find at other stores. Unique, one-of-a-kind, fashion-forward pieces she's going to love. So the stage is set at Diamonds Direct as we anticipate an exciting and fun holiday season with even more surprises coming in the weeks ahead. Make this upcoming holiday the most memorable ever with help from your friends at Diamonds Direct. Official jeweler of the Dallas Cowboys at the shops at La Cantera. Been thinking about natural biologic therapies to treat your chronic joint pain? Meet Tyler Vale, co-founder of QC Kinetics.
To me, it is such an easy decision. If you are truly looking to avoid surgery and not treat yourself with Band-Aids like steroids and pain meds, then really there is no other option. And that's what I love so much about what I get to do.
QC Kinetics offers a variety of restorative natural options to rejuvenate the tissue in your joints and give you your life back.
When they come back a few months later, and it's so affirming to see their quality of life change in such a positive way.
Are you tired of the joint pain that keeps you from living your best life? Call QC Kinetics to learn more about these exciting restorative and regenerative options.
And you've been looking for an answer, something to avoid surgery. I'm just giving you the answer you've been looking for. QC Kinetics. Kinetics is energy in motion. We want to keep you in motion.
Get your free consultation today. with QC Kinetics.
QC Kinetics, 210-571-0318 in Hollywood Park and Westover Hills. Call 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318.
Blake Stevens with San Antonio-based GPS of Texas. If you have commercial vehicles on the road, you're a target for personal injury lawyers. I mean, you're wearing a bullseye. Our system can protect you if there is an accident with proof of speed, video monitoring, even proof that your driver wasn't on his phone. Don't get hammered. Have real proof that you weren't at fault by installing our GPS camera tracking system. Call GPS of Texas at 210-587-7634 or gpsoftexas.com.
The soothing scent of Vicks Vapor Rub. It's only one of the most iconic smells ever. That cooling, comforting scent generations of families have come to trust to help them feel better. And now you trust to soothe your family. Pick up some Vicks Vapor Rub in the little blue jar and wrap yourself with the calm only Vicks Vapor Rub can bring. Vicks Vapor Rub, always there for you.
Hi, welcome to Furniture Depot. And you, come on in.
Couches are flying off the floor at Cheyenne's Furniture Store.
Sarah, can you go over to dining sets, please?
She needs more sales associates before shoppers take their seats elsewhere.
Can somebody get me a price check on trundle beds?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Your exclusive home for the 2021 World Series. This is San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. I'm Jason Minix. Peter Burns of the SEC Network joins us now. Peter, I would like to talk to you about the SEC, but it's Georgia and everybody else, isn't it?
Well, don't forget about Alabama. They're playing pretty well. Also, Auburn looked a little bit better. I mean, A&M's not left for dead. It's actually, again, Georgia's really good, but I think there's probably, as we've seen in college football so far, there's a bunch of good teams this year that chaos can ensue, man. It has kind of that feeling of like 2007. Remember that when it was like LSU winning the national title with 2 losses and all kind of chaos ensued? It kind of has that feeling here in 2021.
It feels like it's chaos after Georgia, and I know the first ranking show is going to be tomorrow night, and it's Georgia, and however you want to put 2, 3, 4 and the 5, 6, however that's all going to work out. It just feels like Georgia is just so much better than everybody else that even if they were to stub their toe, they could still win by 21 in a bad game.
Yeah, defensively, they're the closest thing right now to seeing, 2011, Alabama had one like an absolutely generational defense. And that's what they are right now. And the only time I see them stubbing their toe is that, offensively, sometimes there's issues, but again, they've outscored everybody by 250 points, right? It's crazy. And oh, by the way, they're like 50% of their playmakers are injured, but scheduled to return. So they're only going to get stronger. So yes, they are looking pretty good. But then again, like I said, Alabama with Bryce Young is looking a little bit better. And now that, Jimbo, this game with A&M and Auburn this weekend is going to be a fantastic matchup. And I can't wait to see, what A&M is going to be able to do after a bye week, and Auburn's red hot right now.
Well, and again, Auburn's playing well, and I look at Texas A&M, and, they've got the bad loss to Mike Leach. If they don't lose that game, where would they be in the mix right now? That when you talk about stubbing your toe, that one bad loss, what is it ultimately going to cost Texas A&M?
Well, and when we say bad loss too, that Mississippi State, loss doesn't look nearly as bad now. And the fact that you saw just Mississippi State beat Kentucky, and Leach is always going to be one of those coaches that he gets a team to about 7-5, 8-4. They're always going to be a pain in the what, right? Because of that air raid offense, and he's finding a way. We may look at the end of the year and we may see a Mississippi State team that ended up going 8-4, and you thought, all right, well, actually, they're not nearly as bad as we kind of thought they were earlier. So, these teams, I think we've just gotten so punch drunk on 2019 LSU and 2020 Alabama, where they were good just right from the get-go, and we didn't see, they never had a hiccup, to where we expect all those teams to do it as opposed to kind of getting better. And that's what happens throughout the course of the season.
Peter Burns of the SEC Network joining us here on the Blitz. Peter, I want to get your SEC Network type opinion on the Big 12 right now, with Texas Tech firing their coach. Gary Patterson then gets fired at TCU yesterday. And you've got Sark that loves building double-digit leads just to give them away like he's handing out candy on Halloween.
It's crazy, right? I mean, who would have thought at this juncture that we'd be talking about maybe Baylor is the second best team after, what they've been through and several different iterations of that. But the job Dave Aranda's done up in Waco has been nothing short of fantastic. And, and I'll tell you this, with Oklahoma, since they decided and Lincoln made the tough decision of benching Spencer Rattler, listen, Oklahoma looked bad against Kansas. He had a true freshman making a start in Lawrence at 11 a.m., but they looked great against Tech. I'll just take it another different direction. I'm going to spin it more to the 2-1-0. Like, I still can't believe you have a situation in my life that, you've got a UTSA team that's ranked top 20. Okay, that's weird enough to begin with. But the fact that Texas Tech and now TCU have an opening and they can't land the UTSA coach. Like, how amazing is this world of college football we live in right now, man? It pinch me. I can't believe this is happening.
It is bizarre, and I was going there. I was eventually going to get to Jeff Traylor in UTSA and the last couple of weeks for the Roadrunner program, now ranked number 16 in the AP poll. Off a bye, they jump up 5 spots, right? So you look at Jeff Traylor, who it looked like he was heading to Lubbock, and while I didn't want him to go, I wouldn't have blamed him if he did. And I said on the show last week, Peter, as a coach, you got to strike while the iron is hot. I think UTSA did that. They found the money to sign him to a long-term deal, not only him, but up the overall budget for his assistant coaches and other things that he's going to need to build that program as they move into the American. I didn't think UTSA had that kind of money. How surprised were you when you got the press release that talked about 10 years and $28 million?
I'm sitting there. I mean, again, both of my kids have a birthday this weekend. They're both born on Halloween. So we're kind of just hanging out or whatever. And I said, listen, I'm going to be present. I'm going to get my phone away from myself. I'm going to, make sure, I'm all in with the kids. And then I look, and all of a sudden I get this, this text notification from ESPN that says UTSA strikes deal. I'm like, no flipping way. And my wife's looking at me like, what? And I'm like, it's surreal. But again, I don't think I would have understood it until I went over there a couple of weeks ago, Jason. We talked about this last week, and we saw the facilities. And, if you're at Texas Tech, you're at TCU, or you're at other places, it's like, hey, why can't you build something, right? I mean, we saw, Cincinnati has built something with Luke Fickell. We saw how, the job Josh Heupel did at UCF and what he built that program up to be, where they were in contention. And, now why not San Antonio? We always felt like it was a sleeping giant, but the fact of, now you got somebody that believes in it, and you've got, more importantly, boosters that say, hey, listen, let's make a commitment. They made the commitment to the facilities, but what good is if you're not going to commit to the coaches that are going to do it? And the fact that he got that done is awesome. And I think a monster part of that is making sure, and the more I talk to coaches, they understand they make a boatload of money. A lot of times it's not about how much money they make. It's about how much their assistant coaches who do a ton of the work make. And I think that's important that, they increase that, because now everybody's going to be trying to poach those guys from this UTSA coaching staff.
Yeah, it's interesting. I believe the coach's salary pool almost doubled. I mean, when you look at the dollars, it's incredible that UTSA has found that money, and a big part of that's going to be the revenue stream from joining the American Athletic Conference. Just incredible times, but it does leave the question: who's coaching at Texas Tech? Who's coaching at TCU? I don't think they have anything to do with who ends up at LSU, but the dominoes are going to start falling when you think about USC is still open, LSU is still open, and then where's everybody land? What's your crystal ball telling you, Peter?
Yeah, I mean, I think the crystal ball is that everybody is in a situation that waits. While, Traylor would have been one of those guys that have been easy to kind of plug and play, now everybody kind of takes a step back to a certain extent and says, all right, well, we need to kind of see this shake out, because what's going to happen is there are going to be some coaches around college football that are going to use some of these other jobs as leverage. And some of these schools are going to say, hey, you know what? We're not interested anymore. I mean, think of Dana Holgorsen, right? You know, Dana was over at West Virginia in the Big 12. And Dana was like, nah, you know what? I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to go to Houston. Well, guess what? That worked out great for him. So I think some of these coaches now are looking at those stories and saying, hey, maybe I'll go in a different direction. As far as who they're going to hire, you know, I mean, Sonny Dykes going to be the guy over at Texas Tech. I mean, you could make that move, I guess. You know what would be kind of crazy is, what if Gary Patterson said, you know what? I just needed a fresh start. I don't want to be at TCU any longer. How about I go to Texas Tech? Now, that would be chaotic if all of a sudden he's like, deuces, I'm going to go just down the road in the Big 12. Because I don't think he's done coaching.
I don't think he's done coaching either. And I look at, you know, Sonny Dykes, according to one of my insiders there in Lubbock, it was Jeff Traylor and Sonny Dykes 1-2 on the list. But I've also seen Sonny Dykes' name mentioned quite a bit for the TCU job. It just seems like he's not going to stay at SMU. And you look at that and you go, I don't know that Sonny Dykes excites TCU fan base any more than he was exciting the Texas Tech fan base.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's about winning, right? And was SMU winning? They were. I mean, it's kind of interesting. You see these names that have a lot of success. I mean, think about Jamie Chadwell at Coastal Carolina. They've been fantastic the last couple of years, and he hasn't sniffed a job. Same thing with Billy Napier over at Louisiana Lafayette. You know, yeah. Billy's an interesting guy because I think he was kind of hanging around just to see if LSU jobs opened. And obviously it is, but I don't hear whole lot of buzz about Billy Napier around the LSU job. So, you know, Napier is one of those guys that could potentially be in play just simply for the fact of logistic-wise, he understands this part of the country pretty well.
Yeah, well, and I think about like a couple of years ago, it was Seth Luttrell at North Texas getting job offers. Now I'm going to build something, and now his name isn't mentioned anywhere, which is kind of, you go back to strike while the iron is hot. Because didn't Napier turn down an SEC job last year?
Yeah, Billy Napier. I mean, he was looked at probably the South Carolina job that Shane Beamer ended up getting. But again, at some point, it is a cat and mouse game between the agents, right? Like, do you strike while the iron's hot, or do you take the first thing that's out there while it might not be a good fit? I mean, you know, I know a lot of people talked about the Vanderbilt job, going, hey, who takes that job? You know, is it career coaching suicide right now to take Vanderbilt, as powerful as all the other SEC teams are? So, you know, some of these jobs, I think that's what makes me appreciate what's going on with Dr. Campus and everything that's happening over at UTSA, is the fact that, like, there is a plan, there is a roadmap of success, and some of these conferences and some of these teams right now, Jason, just don't have it. I think that's why coaches don't want to get involved in some of these teams.
It's going to be interesting for sure. Peter Burns of the SEC Network, the college playoff show. The first one is tomorrow night. Are you anticipating any surprises?
No, I mean, other than everybody says, don't worry about it, and then everybody's going to get pissed off about it come 7 o'clock, you know, and they'll complain about it. I mean, listen, every time that we have this first one, it's great for us in sports media. We can talk about it, but really, there's so much football to be played. The only thing I'm kind of curious to see is two things. One, where Cincinnati falls, right? You know, I mean, their schedule hasn't been much. And so does Cincinnati make that top four is one of the things I'll be looking forward to seeing, because they're going to have, you know, kind of a bad strength of schedule going forward. And the other thing is, are they going to put Ohio State over Oregon? Remember, Oregon beat Ohio State in Columbus.
Head to head.
Like, what more can you do other than beat the team in their own damn building? And if the committee says, hey, we still think Ohio State is a better team, what are we doing? Like, why are we even playing the game? Like, I don't think Oregon's a great team, but by that proxy, you're talking about how the game should matter. Well, you're telling me the games don't matter if you rank Ohio State over Oregon.
I totally agree with that. And again, with a lot of family that's from the Pacific Northwest, that's a conversation that I've been texted about more than once from a couple people on the wife's side of the family. They can't believe right now that Ohio State is ranked ahead of Oregon because they have that head-to-head win. But then I look at Oklahoma, and they're the least impressive 9-0 team I can remember. I mean, really, to have them at number 4 in the AP poll.
Well, but go and take a look at college football playoffs over the couple of years. Like, I've never seen the AP top 4 mimic the actual college football playoff top 4. And really, a lot of times it's vastly different for week one. So I think, just how we look at a team right there, it's kind of branding more on AP. And I think the actual college football playoff committee looks at a little bit more metrics and spends a little bit more time at it than a traditional AP ranking.
Very, very true. Peter Burns of the SEC Network, A&M and Auburn this weekend. A&M got enough to get a win?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's crazy that we're talking about A&M maybe being the underdog in this game, but at Kyle Field, you give Jimbo Fisher another week to get Zach Calzada, at 100%. Auburn, I feel like it's going to be like just one of these 17-13 games where it's a lot of running the ball, a lot of punting, and a defensive struggle. So, keep in mind, A&M still has a route to actually Atlanta. If all of a sudden they beat Auburn and Auburn beats Alabama, which could happen in the Iron Bowl, and Mississippi State falls one more time, you could be talking about Texas A&M in Atlanta for the SEC championship. So there's still a lot to play for the Aggies, and I know Kyle Field's going to be rocking.
It certainly is. Peter Burns of the SEC Network. Always appreciate the time. We'll visit next week.
Hey, I still can't believe that you went to an Arizona State foam sorority party. I'm still impressed with that, Phoenix. I mean, dude, that's the old Peter Burns living right there.
I dressed as Peter Burns for Halloween. I saw how your wife did it. I looked just like that with the except I had cap, not visor. But we went to the Arizona State-Washington State game, which was a night out, haunted Halloween type of thing. And my daughter there at Arizona State was on the committee that was doing all the work for homecoming. So big thing. And then, of course, it happens to be Halloween weekend. But, they fumbled the ball in against Utah, so they made him a noon kickoff at Arizona. You're talking about a blackout game at noon, which is just awful. And they just turned the ball over on their first 4 possessions. So crappy game, but made for good nights of partying in Old Town in places that guys our age shouldn't be. Just saying.
No, yeah. Now I've officially gotten old when I'm just like, no, ma'am, you need to put more clothes on. That's officially how old I've gotten now that I see the pictures of Halloween weekend. So, old man Peter Burns here.
Yep. Girl dad stuff falls in there. Clearly, those girls don't live at home and didn't walk past their dad on the way out to the bar. I can promise you that.
Love it. Talk to you soon, man. See you next week, buddy.
Peter Burns of the SEC Network. Always good stuff. Make sure you're watching, listening, and following Peter Burns. Always fun to talk with him. Moose Johnston, the 3-time Super Bowl champ. He'll join us at 5:30 for Mondays with the Moose. But how about the Spurs taking down the champs over the weekend? We'll talk some Spurs coming up as they got the Pacers in a little more than an hour. 6 o'clock East Coast start time. We'll talk some San Antonio Spurs next. And, of course, we'll always take your calls. 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Jason Minix here for my friends over at Alamo Water Softeners. You know I've had a water softener from Alamo Water Softeners in my home for over a decade. Wouldn't live without one. You know you want the best water quality for your family. So go to alamowatersofteners.com. Schedule one of their whole home specialists to come out to your house and give you a free water analysis and a customized plan for your family and home. And right now, Alamo Water Softeners is offering 0% financing for 2 years with approved credit. Take advantage of this same as cash offer on a water treatment bundle with special pricing to give your home the highest water quality treatment available. Get a free standard gas or electric water heater when you purchase a select top-of-the-line water softener, a +1 filter, and a reverse osmosis system while supplies last. Now is the time to take advantage of bundle pricing and 0% interest for 2 years with approved credit. Discover the Alamo Water Softeners difference. Go to alamowatersofteners.com. That's alamowatersofteners.com.
We've got your free tickets to see every Dallas Cowboys home game all season long. Register to win now at sasportstar.com. Cheer on America's team on your home for Cowboys football. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
If your definition of free time means arguing with your spouse, you might want to pick a new hobby. Call DivorceDude.com at 210-201-0303 and ask for Mark, the Divorce Dude. Dude with Polling Law PLLC. DivorceDude.com can help you get a fast, affordable, agreed divorce. But if you want to fight, the Divorce Dude can fight for you. DivorceDude.com gives you easy legal options and sticks with you every step of the way. If the marriage is over, why fight? DivorceDude.com.
There's confusion about how to protect yourself from COVID. One thing is certain, whether you're vaccinated or not, you need an accurate thermometer to check for fever, the leading sign of flu and COVID. Be vigilant and contact your medical provider at the first sign of fever. Don't rely on non-contact thermometers that have no scientific studies. Only the Exergen temporal scanner thermometer has been proven accurate in more than 100 clinical studies. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Did you know that United Healthcare helps connect you to doctors and therapists with 24/7 access to virtual care?
So I could have therapy from my couch?
Yep.
Or a doctor appointment from my car?
If you wanted to.
Wait, you're right. I don't even like when people see me sing in the car. Couch appointment it is. Virtual visits are just one of the ways United Healthcare helps connect you to better health. Learn more at uhc.com. Plan benefits may vary.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year, automatically, dollar for dollar, with no limit on how much you can earn. Extra cash? Come on, how amazing is that? In fact, it's even more amazing when you realize all the places where Discover is accepted. 99% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. So when it comes to Discover, get used to hearing yes more often. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2021 Nielsen Report. Limitations apply.
Central Builders Incorporated is a family-owned, award-winning general contractor headquartered in San Antonio. Since 1989, CBI has completed over $1 billion in construction projects, including large-scale remodeling, expansions, and ground-up construction. The award-winning CBI has also been recognized by the San Antonio Business Journal as one of the best places to work for the past 4 years, and Central Builders is hiring. Learn more at centralbuilders.net. That's centralbuilders.net.
This is Rob Thompson for BetUS.com. My sportsbook, it should be your sportsbook. You ask why? Well, BetUS has been America's favorite sportsbook for over 25 years. You need a sportsbook with integrity and longevity. You need to know that you're going to get paid, and that is BetUS.com. You also need a sportsbook that has everything you want to lay money on: live betting, MMA, golf, and everything else, including all those great prop bets. The number you need is 1-800-79-BET-US. Call them and say KZDC and get 200% in bonuses. That's KZDC. BetUS, where the game begins.
Get your college game on. Get ready for the fight songs. It's college football.
Touchdown! What a catch!
Hear it live on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Hey, this is Rob Thompson on your home for Rangers baseball. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. I'm Jason Minix. You can get me on Twitter at Jason Minix. James Pledger is producing, as always, the Clean Shaven Pledge. He is on Twitter at I am Pledger.
Be careful, people can take that wrong.
Well, I mean, whatever you need to do. Well, I don't know. I do not know the specifics of your costume and what all was required that needed a razor. But, you know, dude, you look 12.
You
understand. Look 12. It's a compliment.
No, I understand.
It's a compliment. I mean, you know, just make sure you're ready to get carded. I mean, you act 12 too. So, you know, in fact, what are we giving away? Let's go ahead and give away. Wait, I didn't even I saw it was something up your alley. So I
Marvel's Eternals?
I don't know about Marvel's and his Eternals. I don't know if that's something that we're allowed to say on the radio, because just the way you said that sounded bad.
We have Fandango codes for people to go see Marvel's newest movie, The Eternals, when it hits theaters this Friday.
Okay, so it's a movie called Eternals. It's not parts, because it made it sound like you were talking about Marvel's Eternals, and I don't even know where those are. I'm just saying, if you want these Fandango codes to go see Eternals, Be caller number 9 right now. 656 ESPN 656-3776 on the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines. Spurs take on the Indiana Pacers tonight. 6 o'clock start time on Bally Sports. You look at this Spurs team. They are playing better to start this season than I think any of us expected. No, they don't have the wins and losses. They don't have the wins. They got plenty of losses. But they've been competitive, more competitive than I thought we would see. You know, I have them down for 33, 35 wins on the year, and I'm not ready to change that, even though they are playing better than I expected them to. But I looked at their schedule and thought 3-10 or 3-7 after 10 is probably going to be where they are. I did not expect a win on the road against the defending champs, although the Bucks aren't exactly playing like world beaters right now, but San Antonio had a chance to beat them in San Antonio, and then they got them on the road in Milwaukee after Brent picked up his ring, which is pretty incredible. But DeJounte Murray and what he did Saturday night, big shot over Giannis. Now, I was in Phoenix, I didn't watch the game, but seeing the highlights, it looked like DeJounte took the game over. Reading about it in the Express News, DeJounte is turning into that dude that we've wanted him to be for a while. And maybe without DeMar, he's able to do that. I mean, Keldon's Keldon and some of the other players. But, you know, DeJounte had a chance to win a game at the buzzer, and he missed it. And I saw a lot of people on Spurs Twitter saying DeJounte should not take that shot. But it looks like DeJounte is developing into that guy. And he dominated the fourth quarter against the Bucks. I mean, when you think about what DeJounte did in the fourth quarter of that game, just, I forget what he scored, 16 of his 23 or whatever it was in the fourth quarter, including that big three-pointer at the end to seal the win. DeJounte is turning into that dude. I'm excited to see it. I want to continue seeing what DeJounte is able to do. And again, strong fourth quarter. They beat the Bucks 102-93. And I think the key part there is 93 for the Milwaukee Bucks. The San Antonio Spurs defense has been incredible to start this year. The way they're able to get turnovers and turn those into transition points. Big win for the San Antonio Spurs on Saturday against the Bucks. They got the Pacers tonight, a game they should win. Look at that. We talk about a win streak for these young San Antonio Spurs. Cowboys, they've been on a win streak. They just continue to win football games because it's what the Cowboys do this year. Doesn't matter who the quarterback is. Well, it does. We need Dak back as soon as possible. Let's talk about the Cowboys coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. The Moose, Daryl Johnston, will join us at 5:30, but coming up next, our original Rock the Mic champ, RJ Ochoa, will join us on this Victory Polo Monday. You know, nobody ever plans on getting arrested, but it does happen to a lot of people every day for all kinds of reasons. If you get arrested, you want to get out of jail fast, you know the best way to do that is to call my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. You can text the word bail to 474747. Or go online to mybestbailbonds.com. You can even start the bonding process there online. What you don't want to do, you don't have to call attorneys or anybody else to get out of jail. A lot of reasons for that. And you don't want to be forced into a PR bond. While it might sound good if the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you really understand what all of those conditions are before you accept it. Your best option for stress-free bail bonds is AA Best Bail Bonds because nobody beats their price. They offer payment plans, have a free shuttle service. They're discreet and confidential and, of course, open 24/7 to get you out fast. They have offices all over San Antonio and Texas. So if you're up in Dallas, down in Corpus, in the Valley, anywhere in between, license number 149. Call AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121, or go online at mybestbailbonds.com.
Friday nights mean one thing. San Antonio Sports Stars High School Football Game of the Week. Powered by Hill Electric. Jason Minix and Kevin Brock have the call each week beginning at 7 p.m. from the GPS of Texas broadcast booth. A Friday night Texas tradition.
Friday, the Reagan Rattlers take on the Brandeis Broncos. 6:30 pregame, 7 o'clock kickoff.
High school football each week from San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Fever is the leading symptom of COVID and the flu, and the only way to reliably detect it is with an accurate thermometer. Be vigilant and be accurate with the Exergen Temporal Scanner, whose accuracy has been proven in more than 100 clinical studies. Don't rely on non-contact thermometers. They are proven to be inaccurate and will not reliably detect a fever that might mean COVID. Be sure to seek medical advice at the first sign of fever. Learn more at Exergen.com.
If you're with Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile, you're paying too much. Switching to Pure Talk saves the average family over $800 a year. From your cell phone, dial pound 250 and say half off, and you'll save 50% off your first month.
Would you like a cleaning product that can be used in the garage, the laundry, and the kitchen, and save space in your cabinet? Hi, I'm Bruce Fabrizio, inventor of Simple Green. To learn more, visit us at simplegreen.com.
Simple Green. Not all pizza places are the same. Mellow Mushroom originated hand-tossed, stone-baked classic Southern pizza. Not in the mood for pizza? Order a calzone, hoagie, sandwich, burger, or a mellow salad and see how care goes into every item on the menu. Take your pick from 24 draft beers and or handcrafted cocktails. And many of the pizzas can be made gluten-free or vegan. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 in Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
Avid golfer Cam Warren played with joint pain for as long as he could.
Couldn't play golf for any extended period of time without braces and pain and chewing Advil for the entire day.
Then he turned to steroids.
Cortisone would last a few months, but it just inevitably came right back. Got to the point where I would have to wear ice packs to bed.
When the word surgery came up, Cam started looking elsewhere, and he found QC Kinetics. Natural biologic therapies, regenerative treatments that can repair and restore damaged tissue with no drugs, no surgery, no downtime. And now,
very proud to say that it has definitely changed my life. I've played 36 holes multiple days in a row without pain. Everything is great.
Call QC Kinetics now to schedule your free consultation.
I would recommend QC to anybody.
Call QC Kinetics 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. QC Kinetics 571-0318.
This is the home of the Cowboys, Rangers, and Aggie football. KCDC, San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Jason Minix, the Blitz.
It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. I'm Jason Minix, the inventor of Victory Polo Monday. One RJ Ochoa joins us now wearing a Cowboys polo because it's Victory Polo Monday because Cowboys won again last night. What is up, RJ?
How does it, Jason? You're looking ravishing, if I do say so myself. Pledge looks debonair, not quite in the Victory Polo, but wearing the Victory Polo in spirit, of course. Jason, I'm surprised you're not still on that mountain in Tempe or wherever it was. But glad to have you back in the Lone Star State wearing a Victory Polo. The best kind of day that there is, honestly, during the fall and winter seasons.
You know, and the difference between you and I is I will wear a Cowboy shirt of some sort after every game, win or lose. I don't just save it for the good times. I'm not fair weather that way. Although
there's nothing meaningful to your actions. I see. I understand.
Well, no, it's Victory Polo, or I support my team. It's just the Cowboy Monday day after game uniform that I have to wear.
I demand accountability. That's the difference between you and I. You're fine accepting the mediocrity. You would have been cool with Jason Garrett last night, trotting Cooper Rush out there and losing and saying, you know what, you tried. You didn't have Dak Prescott. But me, I need Mike McCarthy to send his backup down there and get the dub like he did to the Cowboys back in 2013 with Matt Flynn and broke all of our hearts.
I remember that like it was not yesterday. And you look at it, RJ, what I really appreciated about last night's game was they get the ball back, drive down the field. They overcome some odd penalties throughout the entire game, but they did not settle for a field goal. They didn't get into field goal range and say, all right, we're good. Let's take this to overtime. They kept pushing. And watching all the highlight shows, and I watched part of the game last night on Southwest Airlines flying back from Phoenix and got home in time to watch the entire second half in the living room. But watching last night, they were going to win. And you know, the bobbled catch by Amari Cooper and the touchdown catch are getting a lot of run. But I thought the play of the game was Zeke splitting two defenders on 3rd and 11 to convert a big third down, so we didn't have to go to overtime. You had a chance to have that pass into the end zone.
You know, I tweeted in the moment that might have been the best play of Zeke's career. A lot of people responded, obviously, the game winner against Pittsburgh, his rookie year, even the screen pass earlier in that game. And that was definitely a great moment, and I'm fine if this moment loses out. But I think contextually, this one just it has a different weight to me. The fact that it was without Dak, the fact that the team needed a superstar play, the fact that he was able to pull that off. I don't want to take away anything you said because you're right. I mean, kudos to the Cowboys. I love that on 1st and goal, they went to the air. They didn't just say, okay, we got here down near the goal line. Let's run the ball a couple of times. In worst case scenario, we'll settle for the field goal. I loved the offensive disposition. They trusted Cooper Rush. But what I will say is that 3rd and 11 only happens because Mike Zimmer doesn't know the rules and calls back-to-back timeouts. If it's 3rd and 16, I don't know that conversion happens. Just to be fully honest here.
Although, how many yards did he get on that play? I mean, you know, it might have been close if
close.
The same scenario happens, but it's not just Zimmer didn't know the rules, but neither did the damn referee who granted him the timeout, which again, lots of things last night with officials that I didn't like, but you could tell where this team is. Amari Cooper, after the game, has the game-winning touchdown and then tells the media, hey, guys, I got a story to tell you.
I got a funny story for you. I might as well go ahead and tell it. I came back in the huddle. We were in, I think, double left, right? So that means I line up to the left, the short side of the field. CD wanted the ball really bad. So he told Coop, he was like, it's double right? Because that would put me on the right side and him on the left. And Coop was like, nah, it's double left, bro. And then CD was like, Coop, you want to let me get this? I said, hell no. I said, hell no. So that's how much pride I take in, wanting that ball and those, pivotal moments. Because I know I can go up and make the play.
And you think about the play he went up and made, and I appreciate everything that you're hearing there. I think CeeDee Lamb is trying to take advantage of Cooper Rush, and Amari Cooper was like, no, dude, this one's mine. I mean, they're competing for it, because I don't know that CD would say that to Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott in the huddle calls a play, and you say, yes, sir, you break the huddle and go, right?
Yeah. I will say this kind of stuff only happens like the story when you win, right? Like, and when you're winning a lot, if this is a team that's, 3-4, 4-3 even, nobody hears this story. Like, think about this. This whole story comes from Amari Cooper, one of the most quiet people in sports. And the story is about his bravado and how he's declining the opportunity for CeeDee Lamb, who had a big play in that same corner of the end zone the last time the Cowboys visited the Vikings. Amari Cooper is a superstar. I think we continually undervalue and underrate him because he isn't flashy, he isn't loud, but he is so talented. Last night, some of the breaks went his way, and sometimes that's going to happen. But that catch was, tonight, on all the Monday Night Football Palooza, that is the ultimate you got mossed moment. And that's the thing. Amari Cooper can beat you a number of different ways. That was kind of like Dez Bryant's specialty, and that was the closest Amari Cooper's ever come to that as far as his time with the Cowboys.
RJ Ochoa from bloggingtheboys.com joining us here on the Blitz. And you think about Amari Cooper, very smart guy. When you get a chance to talk to Amari, you could tell he's different. Even CeeDee Lamb. And I think about CeeDee Lamb and the amount of fines he apparently has already been collecting. And Amari's like, dude, don't you like your money? Pull up your socks. Tuck in your shirt. You're giving away money. I'm surprised that the Cowboys don't have, somebody on that staff to make sure CeeDee Lamb is in line with the uniform police.
Maybe, but some guys just like their stuff. I mean, it's weird, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, but it's some people, Jason, are willing to pay money to look a certain way. Some people are willing to pay more to only have drums or flats when they order wings. Like we all have our particulars when it comes to the things we like in different circumstances and different environments.
$46,000. Is that what he's paid right now? Or a third jersey violation will cost him $46,000, but he's already been fined almost $47,000 because of all of this. It just doesn't seem to make sense, and I don't know how the NFL comes up with those price points.
I don't either. I mean, like, I would be fascinated if there was like a legitimate formula. You know what I mean? Like 1x, is Y, and if it's like 2 inches off or whatever, that adds something or whatever. But the NFL is, super down to microscopically look at CD's uniform and how, it's in violation, but they don't seem to care about Harrison Smith putting him in a chokehold on the sideline there in the middle of this game. So, I mean, what's going on here? And that's like, that thing was like, you mentioned the questionable penalties, the late hit that Randy Gregory got called for. Look, if you're going to call that, fine, but then call Leighton Vander Esch for the same thing, because he had a hit well after that. Like, just be consistent so that everybody knows what you're calling and how you're calling it.
Agree 100%. RJ Ochoa, bloggingtheboys.com with us here. We'll talk a lot about the Cowboys offense because, well, I mean, it was Cooper Rush, and Cooper Rush looked comfortable. He played better. I was so wrong. Now, granted, it was one game, and I think for one game he was ready, and he knows the offense extremely well, which is why they talked about wanting to bring him back. He got it done. He looked comfortable. But that defense last night, when do we start talking about how good this Dallas Cowboys defense actually is or might be? Because they got a win last night without getting the turnovers.
They did. I mean, some of that, I think, I don't want to buy all the way in just because some of it is, and I'm higher on Kirk Cousins than most, but some of it is the ineptitude of the Vikings offense. I mean, I don't know why they didn't, push things harder against the opportunities were there and they just didn't want to. They were conservative from the jump. They got that 7-point lead early on. They thought that was going to be enough and they turtled up and tried to play prevent in every, capacity of the game. But this Cowboys defense, I think, it's opportunistic. Sometimes those opportunities come by way of turnovers. Sometimes they come by way of whoever your opponent is. And it was really impressive. The Vikings had 3 possessions where they had to travel 60 or less yards. They got 3 points out of them. I mean, the Cowboys defense stood up. A lot of those, the Cooper Rush turnovers that the Cowboys did a great job of not allowing big point swings off of them. And so that's really impressive. I mean, I think they're somewhere around the 10th to 15th best defense in the NFL on a given day. And that's what we've been asking for forever, right? Like we've said, in some way, shape, or form, if this team had just an average defense, they could be really good. And they have a pretty good defense, which is why they're performing a little bit higher than even our wildest expectations.
They certainly are. RJ, when you look at the injuries last night, I think probably the big news is Jabril Cox. He's become pretty important on special teams. He is done for the season, which is disappointing. But I haven't seen updates yet on Tyron Smith or Diggs, although Diggs was wearing 2 shoes when he left last night and wasn't limping. They said it was an ankle sprain. So you expect him to be able to go this week against Denver.
Yeah, I think everything's going to be okay with Trayvon Diggs, which is good to hear. Still unknown on Tyron, but I mean, I don't mean to say like, hey, I'm pumped if the Cowboys have to play without Tyron Smith, but they just managed the game without Dak Prescott. Like this team has earned a high level of trust, a high level of currency in that sense. And they got Lyle Collins back last week. So they have depth. And that's why all these people who are saying the Cowboys need to trade away so-and-so, they need to trade away so-and-so. Dude, this is a league. This is a game where things can change in an instant. You have a lot of depth right now. Don't piss it away because you see the Rams trading for Von Miller or whatever the case may be.
Well, and again, though, I mean, now you kind of go, oh man, that Smith guy was pretty good. If we're now down a linebacker, what are we going to do? And I know they're getting a couple of people back, which will look like, you could look at them, however you want to, but they do have 3 guys that are going to return to the lineup relatively soon. But I thought it was weird last night when Tyron Smith was hurt. You got Ty and Secchi in there. You didn't just put Collins into the game. That surprised me by the Cowboys coaching staff.
I mean, I like on paper, I agree with you, but Mike McCarthy is a coach who likes continuity, and Lyle hasn't seen work at left tackle, like ever. You know what I mean? And so, like, it makes sense, theoretically, but if Tyron can't play, I honestly think they'd put Lyle at right tackle, and Terrence Steele would be the guy to flip over just because, they like their continuity. Of the available options, Ty and Secchi's the only one who had work at left tackle this season. And so, you just got to make lemonade in that moment. But yeah, I mean, I get where you're coming from.
When you look ahead this week, you mentioned the trade for Von Miller. He's going to the Los Angeles Rams. as the trade deadline is tomorrow, and I'm with you. I don't expect the Cowboys to do anything splashy tomorrow, but it does feel like the Rams are saying we're going all in on our defense, and Von Miller is not the same player that he was. He's going to be good, and you put him with, Aaron Donald and the rest of that defense, he'll make an impact. But with no Von Miller this week, Cowboys play the Broncos. Do you give Dak another week to rest that calf?
I mean, I think you give Dak another week if Dak is still not 100%. You know what I mean? Like, if you're making the decision off of the Broncos trading away a player, then you're doing it wrong. But I get it. I mean, the Cowboys were 7-point favorites this morning before that news came. And so you have to imagine that might bump it up another point and a half. And so it's fair. And because I don't want to lose a game, but if you're going to lose a game, you want it to be to an AFC team. And so if this is the game where you stumble and you fall over, whatever the case may be, like, it's not the end of the world. You're piling up the wins that are going to be important when it comes to tiebreakers and things like that. That's why last night was so important. But if Dak's ready, I think you play him, and you trust in him, and you trust his decision making, and you trust his level of comfortability, and you get to 7-1, and you move on.
Well, and again, I think and some of it might depend on if Tyron Smith is able to play, but the Broncos defense got a little less scary with Von Miller saying bye-bye. And I just look, if it's a calf, and all week we didn't know, although I wasn't surprised that Cooper Rush got the start last night and Dak sat, but they took it up to seemingly the final minute they had to make a decision. He went through all his warm-ups, and, I'm on an airplane, but looking at, what was being tweeted and whatnot, I couldn't tell if he was starting or not based on, people that you trust in the media world that were saying, well, he's doing this, he's doing that, looks like he's going to play. Then obviously he didn't. I just wanted you to take another week, especially if Tyron Smith isn't able to go.
It's fair. I mean, and, I think Mike McCarthy will play it that way. He'll play it, to a point of, I don't know what we're going to do. And to be clear, I think that strategy, like that, the idea that that's a strategy that opposing coaches are thrown off by, man, who do we prepare for? Whatever. I think that idea is dumb, but it worked against Mike Zimmer, who said after the game that they prepared for Dak Prescott all week long and were kind of surprised and caught off guard. So I imagine that Mike McCarthy will keep it close to the vest. But if I had to bet one way or the other, I would probably suggest that Dak Prescott does play on Sunday.
I totally agree. RJ Ochoa, bloggingtheboys.com, our original Rock the Mic winner. We narrowed it down to our field of 12, although I just checked the website. I don't think the website's been updated with those 12 yet. Wednesday, we're going to be at Slackers. Thursday, we're going to be at Slackers. And, the voting process is about to get underway. RJ, you were the first guy to win Rock the Mic. I can't believe we've been doing this many years. For people that are now in the top 12, and they'll be announced at some point later today or maybe in the morning, we know who they are. What advice would you give to those 12, the dirty dozen?
I think you gotta talk to a lot of people from high school that you haven't in a while, and you gotta, I was really fortunate that I had started to kind of blog and into podcasts and had developed a little bit of a following at that time. And so I was really fortunate that those followers were kind enough to support me. But I think, use social media. That's the power of the world and the era and the time and day and age that we live in. Use social media to ask for people to vote. Tell them why they should vote for you. I mean, those votes are important. It also obviously comes down to what you say and how you perform and how you impress the incredibly handsome judges. You got to be complimentary of them, of course. But I mean, use social media. That's my best advice. You don't be gimmicky. Don't be gimmicky and say, hey, free donuts or whatever to anybody who votes for me. Tell them why. You believe in yourself. You made it to the top 12. That's a really impressive accomplishment.
Over the next several weeks at all our spots, when we go by Slacker Sports and Arcade Bar, and there's a lot of them, and we invite those 12 on the air, and then when we get down to the Final Four and they go on the air with us, that seems to be where a lot of people lose it. Because honestly, we've been doing this now long enough to realize we might sit in a room and go, yeah, this guy probably wins, or she might win, or that, and they don't even come close. I mean, and you talk about the importance of social media. I know at least of two that I thought were going to win that had 0 votes on traction. They were really good. We got you to the top 12, but it's up to you to get into the top 4. But the on-air part is also pretty important. Any advice there?
I'd say to ask questions. That there's not a bad question. There's no stupid questions. Be certain, be positive. One of the mistakes I made because of the jerks that handle the Rock the Mic process, they gave me an ad to read, and they write everything out in a linear sense. And so it's AA best bail bonds, people. All right, it's AA best bail bonds. Don't mess it up like RJ did back in 2016, because he was met with a fiery storm of rage and got in a lot of trouble. Thankfully, it all worked out. But ask questions. There's not a bad one. There's not a dumb one. There's no way to go wrong. And don't try to beat anybody, with your take or your stance or whatever. Just believe in your thoughts and your opinions and your analysis. And at the end of the day, if you leave it all out there, I think you could be proud of yourself. And if Jason doesn't see that, well, he's wrong, not you.
Well, and again, getting the reads right is important. Make sure you say the sponsors' names right. It tends to be important. It's Slacker Sports and Arcade Bar and Jim Beam, the great sponsors of Rock the Mic.
Yeah, I mean, and the beautiful thing about that is they change over time. Shout out to Slacker, Slackadoches. They've been doing this forever. I feel like I've been involved with Rock the Mic so often. I feel like some sort of jersey should be retired or hung in the rafters there with all the Spurs ones they have, just because, that place means a lot to me. I've got a photo of you, me, and Rob in my office from there. So if I've got something from them in my place of work, that street should go two ways.
I think you've left a pen in there or something. We'll retire that. There's a jersey. You're the OG. Wednesday night we'll be at the Slackers Medical Center location over there off of Fredericksburg Road, and then on Thursday we'll be at the Nacogdoches location. So Slackadoches on Thursday of this week. Next week, Wednesday, Thursday, we're going to be out again as we willed it down for another Rock the Mic champion.
It's going to be good. I'm looking forward to it. We have a very special club. We have a very special entry. It's an entry fee, obviously. Can't tell anybody. There is a lot involved here. There's a ritual of sorts. We've really stepped things up. Michael Jimenez has really brought some new and debatable protocols to the Rock the Mic club, the prestigious club that it is. He's decorated the fraternity house that we have in some ways that, don't necessarily, fit my cup of tea, but, that's how Quattro tends to roll. So it is what it is. Thomas Mott has a Baylor banner hanging proudly after this past weekend, so we're putting up with that.
Yeah, well, we got to take that down. We don't want to talk about Baylor and coming back from Double Day. And he's working in Atlanta now, covering the Braves. I've been trying to get a hold of him to bring him on, but the guy's busy covering the World Series for the enemy.
Yeah, I mean the nerf, you know what I mean? But that's what happens. You got to be versatile. You got to be willing to talk about a billion different things. Sometimes your career, your life sends you down the path of talking about the team that's going to blow a 3-1 lead in the World Series. That's what happened to Thomas Mott.
That's exactly what happened. And I think you just brought up something that I should mention. Every Rock the Mic champion is working in the media business today, on the air, doing something, including Michael Jimenez, who today started full-time with us at San Antonio Sports Star, hosting from noon to 2. You're running bloggingtheboys.com. Mott is in Atlanta. Tig is across the street. Quinn is on Sundays. Am I missing anybody? It was getting too many where, it's trying to remember all the names of all the kids. I think I got them all right.
We're a pack. We're a litter. You know what I mean? And so we fly high. We ball in. And so a hearty congratulations to Quattro for the official gig. Has put in his time. And so all he has to do is sleep on a couple couches in Oxnard and everything's official.
You did forget one.
Who?
Brandon Medina. You don't even have to win Rock the Mic to be in the radio business.
True, but I was talking about the champions that were all working. So I didn't forget a champion. There's a difference.
All love to Big Papi, but you get a championship ring, championship belt, championship sash, corsage, tiara. You know what I mean? And it's just the gear that comes with the gig. That's all it is.
That's all it is. The original Rock the Mic champion, who has the ability to tell Jimenez he can't put that up in the house. You control everything because you were the original. You got the big room. You get the bed to yourself. You get it all. You control it all. You control the remote for the TV. So if Jimenez is trying to change some of your ritual stuff, you can put an end to that in a hurry.
Exactly. And because I control the remote, because I control the soundings, number one, I won't sleep with the television or volume on like a psychopath. And two, I will ask Pledge again to straighten out the sign behind him. It's been bothering me for the last 20 minutes. Pledge, get a level in that office. Jeez.
You know how many times we straighten that thing? I mean,
I feel off. I feel like I'm not calibrated properly, looking at it.
Just blame Greg Shelton. And again, until you get to a certain level, you can have the TV on at night as loud as you want. I'm just saying. I mean, you can control the Rock the Mike House, but somebody else still controls the TV when we're on the road. Just saying.
Again, it's a weird thing. That's all I'm saying. Fine, have your way, but I mean, it's a weird thing. Just admit it's a weird thing.
It's not a weird thing. I think it's perfectly normal. You're the strange one that wants to sleep when it's completely dark and quiet. That drives me nuts. It's impossible.
I mean, I'm sorry that I'm not afraid of the dark, but you are not the weirdest one, because in Minnesota, when Rob Thompson fell asleep with the TV on, I tried to grab the remote from his hand while he was asleep, and he woke up and snatched it from me like he was some sort of night monster. So it was a terrifying experience.
Don't reach for a man's remote, man. I mean, you just can't, especially knowing Rob keeps that in his robe pocket, man. He must have been very uncomfortable with you searching for that remote. Although I'm going to guess when little baby RJ shows up, you're going to start sleeping with the TV on, because your quiet, peaceful nights are about to end.
Well, you know what? I'll find a way to be more efficient about it. Let's just say that. I won't be the guy that has C-SPAN on at 4 a.m. like Jason Minnick does sometimes, or old episodes of Ozark or something. I mean, you never know what it's going to be depending on the location and whether or not he has internet access.
It's never been C-SPAN. I can promise you that. RJ Ochoa, have a wonderful week, man. We'll talk to you next week after the Cowboys beat the Broncos.
Sounds good. Enjoy the midnight showing of Eternals with Pledge. I know you're going.
Yeah, I can't wait to see Marvel's Eternals. It's going to be incredible. We'll give away more Fandango codes in a bit. Hey, injuries do happen. If you twist, pull, pop, or snap something, you need to know about Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Dr. Espinosa treats all non-surgical orthopedic injuries, and he has same-day and next-day availability. Telemedicine services are also available. There's no reason to be in pain. If you're hurting, visit Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Learn more at TSAOG.com, or you can schedule an appointment by calling 210-804-5490. 804-5490, or again, the website, TSAOG.com. The Moose, Daryl Johnston, joins us next right after SportsCenter.
In the NFL, the Cowboys have won 6 straight now. This one they did without Dak Prescott.
1250.
As Cooper rushed through for 325 yards, including the game-winning touchdown to Amari Cooper in their 20-16 win over the Vikings up in Minnesota. Both Amari and CeeDee Lamb went over 100 yards receiving in the win. Injuries hit the boys, though, as Trayvon Diggs suffered a sprained ankle, while rookie linebacker Jabril Cox suffered a torn ACL and is now out for the rest of the year. While the Cowboys won their 6th straight, the Texans lost their 6th straight as they fell to the Los Angeles Rams 38-22. In Major League Baseball, the Astros avoided elimination and survived a first-inning grand slam as they beat the Braves up in Atlanta 9-5 last night, and they now trail this best-of-7 series 3-2 that shifts back to Houston for Game 6 tomorrow night at 7:09. Luis Garcia is expected to get the start, and you can catch that game right here on San Antonio Sports Star. Finally, in the NBA, the Spurs are 2-4 on the year after a big 102-93 win over the Milwaukee Bucks Saturday. Tonight, they take on the 1-6 Indiana Pacers with tip-off set for 6 o'clock. I'm James Pledger for San Antonio Sports Star.
From city streets to back roads, from road warrior to carpooler, there are some things you can always count on, like the reliability, durability, and power of DieHard, America's most trusted auto battery. No matter where your journey takes you, count on DieHard to get you started on the road ahead. Available at your local Advance Auto Parts and participating CarQuest stores.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
Hey, sports bettors, I'm talking to you. This is Rob Thompson here to tell you about my favorite sports book. That's BetUS. Football's here. You need to be playing it. It's been a great couple of weeks. Why not start now? Well, BetUS is the best place to start because they've been around for 25 years. That's the integrity I'm looking for with the longevity. You need a sports book that offers everything, including live betting, MMA, golf, horses, esports, you name it, they've got it. To join, it's so easy. Call today, 1-800-79-BET-US. Again, 1-800-79-BET-US. And when you dial it, remember this, KZDC. If you tell them KZDC, that's us, you're going to get up to 200% in bonuses on your first deposit. Nobody does that. I bet at BetUS, so should you. I want you to join BetUS.com today. Call them right now. Start betting with America's favorite sportsbook. And remember to use KZDC for up to 200% in bonuses. BetUS.com. It's where the game begins.
Our favorite season of the year at Diamonds Direct is right around the corner, and we can't wait to show you what we've got ready. Our showcases are filled with the best selection ever of exquisite jewelry. Rings, earrings, bracelets, bands, pendants, all the newest fashion jewelry, as well as those time-tested classics. We've carefully priced everything to ensure you get the guaranteed best value, regardless of your budget. And over the past few months, we've expanded our loose diamond selection, adding a special collection of large, rare diamonds, 3 carats and up. Rounds, princess cuts, cushion cuts, emerald cuts, perfect for that holiday diamond upgrade. We've also made arrangements with our premier designers to bring you jewelry you won't be able to find at other stores. Unique, one-of-a-kind, fashion-forward pieces she's going to love. So the stage is set at Diamonds Direct as we anticipate an exciting and fun holiday season, with even more surprises coming in the weeks ahead. Make this upcoming holiday the most memorable ever, with help from your friends at Diamonds Direct. Official jeweler of the Dallas Cowboys at the shops at La Cantera.
Lowe's Provember event is back, and we're thanking pros like you all month long with buy one, get one free deals on select DeWalt power tools and top values like a Spider 2-pack of 4.5-inch diamond cutoff wheels for $14.98. Join us for Provember, going on now through November 24th. Shop in-store or at Lowe's.com/Provember. Lowe's, the new home for pros. While supplies last, U.S. only, valid 10/28 through 11/24.
Hi, my name is Ted, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Peppermint Chip Shake is when the Peppermint Shake is available, that's to me sort of announces that the holiday season is here. I guess most people count down the days until Christmas, but me, I count down the days until the shake comes out.
Hi, I'm Michaela, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Peppermint Chip Milkshake is that first sip, when you taste the peppermint chip pieces, it's like catching snowflakes on your tongue.
Share a peppermint chip milkshake from Chick-fil-A this holiday. Available for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
The play is in. The Blitz with Jason Minix and Sports Insiders. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Cowboys go on the road. Backup quarterback, get a win. It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. I'm Jason Minix. Glad to have you along here on this Monday afternoon. Time for Mondays with the Moose. 3-time Super Bowl champion, analyst with Fox Sports, Daryl Johnston joins us now. Moose, you talk about going into a big game with a backup quarterback, the confidence level of the teammates. They might say all the right things, but where do you think their confidence really was at the start of that game?
I don't think they would have said anything that they didn't believe. They don't have to create any false hope. They don't have to build anybody up. Again, it's one of the things that I always lose sight of. We're just not there at the facility every day. And as a player, you can see the progress. You know the strengths and weaknesses as a player. You've got a good feel for that matchup. As fans and as a broadcaster, we're separated from that part of it. We get to see the finished product every week, but we don't see the progression. from week 1 to week 4, from week 4 to week 8. We don't see the growth of the individuals as a part of that team. So I don't think anybody would have gone into that game with any notion of trying to convince themselves that they could beat the Minnesota Vikings on the road. I love the game plan that Kellen Moore put together. Took some pressure off of Cooper Rush, got the run going, some interesting formations for coordinators to think about moving forward. Got him into a rhythm with some short passes, gave him a few shots down the field. So I just thought it was well done. You look at what they've done this season. I thought the Chargers' victory on the road was big, especially the way that they were playing during that time. I thought the New England victory, on the road, that was a game that they would have lost in years past. And I think potentially this one too. And I think that this one now has to have them just, absolutely brimming with confidence moving forward. So I thought it was a huge win, just an absolutely huge win.
I agree. Do you think the players themselves knew that it was going to be Cooper all week, even though he took all the snaps with the first team? They've talked about that. But, I was in Phoenix over the weekend and, flying back. Of course, plane was a little delayed, so I was watching the first part of the game on my iPad. But looking at Twitter, there were media types saying Dak's going through warm-ups, looks like he's going to be able to play, and then of course, obviously at the last minute, he was a scratch. Do you think there was the plan all along was to do that, and if he played, it was a bonus? Or do you think it really went down to that final minute, and then from a player standpoint, you go, okay, well, maybe Dak's got a chance? That's why I'm trying to figure out the gamesmanship that Mike McCarthy was using last night.
I think it went down to the last minute to see if Dak was going to be able to go. When he's on the field with Britt Brown, who's one of the athletic trainers, who's going to be a key part of that decision, along with Jim Maurer, the head trainer, position coaches, everybody's going to be watching his movement. How does he look? How does he feel? And they're going to see something where it's just it's not quite him. And sometimes you have to protect a player from himself. And I think that Dak is one of those guys. He just wants to be on the field. And they made the decision not to go. And I think that's because they pressed it as hard as they could. They had the bye week. You're doing everything. You had a PRP treatment, very, very late in the process. Trying to, throw everything they possibly could at that injury. And then you get to the game and you go out pregame and you go through the motions and you do the test. And all of a sudden you decide, you know what, it's not worth risking, to put you out there and maybe set you 4 weeks back now. It's something we can't afford. And we had a similar situation in our game with Tyrod Taylor. I think Tyrod really felt he was going to play. And, he's been Friday, they decide that they're going to stay with Davis Mills. And, we really felt like we were trending that way too. And actually talking to Raheem Morris, the defensive coordinator of the LA Rams, he felt that they were trending that way. He expected to see Tyrod Taylor. So sometimes, that whether it's something subtle in their performance, it's, for Tyrod, I think they ran an MRI, Thursday after practice, and they didn't like the way it came back. And in kind of a similar situation, let's not force you back here and lose you for another 5 weeks when we can wait one more week and then have you for the rest of the year. So those are just the tough decisions that have to be made. But the biggest thing is how the team responded to that and was able to find a way to win that game.
And I want to ask you about the Rams and Texans game that you had yesterday on Fox in a couple of minutes. But staying with the Cowboys as we visit with Daryl Johnston here on the Blitz. The game plan yesterday, especially late, and I know Amari Cooper made that great bobbling catch and then, of course, had the game-winning touchdown. But that 3rd and 11 play after the 5-yard penalty, Zeke splitting those two defenders, breaking the tackle and picking up the first down, I thought was kind of the play of the game. And what it really signaled was Kellen Moore and Mike McCarthy decided they were trying to win that thing in regulation, not kick the field goal and go to overtime. I was impressed that once they got into field goal range, they didn't take the foot off the gas pedal. They kept trying to score that touchdown.
Yeah, and that's another thing, right? The mentality. We've talked about the performance of the guys and how well they play and how they responded to the adversity of not having a starting quarterback. But I agree. The game plan that Kellen Moore called, the overall, management of the game and the decision making by Coach McCarthy. So yeah, I agree with you on that one. And it was an outstanding play by Ezekiel. And I thought, he had a real nice game last night. Him and Tony Pollard together are just continuing to make strides, and it's so much for a defense to handle. But that was awesome. It was, I agree. They didn't take their foot off the gas once they got down there and get real conservative. And hey, maybe we'll pop a screen, or hey, maybe we'll pop a run on the inside. They were still pressing the ball down the field.
Were you surprised at the end of the game when you look at the box score and you go, all right, 24 rushes and 40 pass attempts? Is that because Minnesota said, all right, you're not going to be able to run against us? It's Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush is going to have to beat us. We're going to do everything we can to take the run game away?
Absolutely. They're not going to let that Dallas offensive line get rolling, and Ezekiel and Tony Pollard, start to feel good. And even with some of the struggles that Minnesota has had on the back end this year, they've had a revolving door at the corner position. That's still in that scenario. Make the guy's got he's thrown 3 passes in his NFL career coming into that game. This is the guy that's going to have to beat us. It's not going to be the offensive line in the running game controlling the clock for 60 minutes, keeping our guys off the field, and winning this thing in a tight fit. We're going to make Cooper Rush throw the ball down the field.
Daryl, was the Cowboys defense, is it getting to the level where they're that good, or was it just that bad of a day for Minnesota offensively, especially when you look at 1 of 13 on third down?
I thought they were very physical in the secondary. It seems to be contagious with the guys. Once one guy is playing really well like that, it seems that it spreads throughout the entire defense. And for me, yesterday, it was really the secondary that you really saw that. So, they didn't have the big takeaways. They didn't have, a defensive score. It was just kind of, they were just playing it, play after plays. And that was one of the games that I wanted to see. And that's a good offense. That's Dalvin Cook. That's Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, Kirk Cousins. Their offensive line is still starting to grow and get a little bit better. But that's a good offense. And I thought that Dallas was very physical. They've always been flying around the football. But I thought that there were several really, really big hits in the secondary yesterday, and that's what's starting to impress me. Is it all seems to be coming together on the defensive side of the ball, and obviously that's going to take time in year one under Dan Quinn, but you're really starting to see that group believe in what they've been studying and learning all season long.
Well, I look at Minnesota. They get a touchdown on their opening drive. They convert their only third down on the opening drive. No third down conversions the rest of the game. No touchdowns the rest of the game. I like what I'm seeing out of the Dallas defense, but I'm starting to think, man, are they really going to be? Are they that good? I guess is the question.
I don't see why they wouldn't be, and that's why against that offense, against Minnesota's offense. Now they've been notorious this year for coming out in the beginning of the game and having a really good opening drive. And then have kind of struggled to adjust. And is that, the struggles of a first-year offensive coordinator adjusting to the flow during the course of the game and reacting and responding. I don't know. But that's a very, very talented offensive group. And now they've got Christian Darrisaw at left tackle, their first-round draft pick. So they've got all the pieces in place. And to hold an offense that has that much talent on it, without a conversion on third down after that first drive, I think speaks volumes. And a lot of it has to do with just the speed in the secondary with the guys converging. Antonio Brown had a great game yesterday. Or Anthony Brown had a great game yesterday. I thought he really, really stood out as a guy, but I just think they can roll numbers at you in the secondary. And we still have a couple of guys that are yet to get back on the field. So really, as good as they're playing right now, I mean, there could be another kind of big uptick once you get some of the other guys back in that lineup.
Daryl Johnston, a 3-time Super Bowl champion with the Cowboys, now an analyst with Fox Sports, joining us here on the Blitz as he does every Monday for Mondays with the Moose. You had the Texans-Rams game yesterday that I was a little surprised to see that was the game that they were showing on the Fox affiliate in Phoenix yesterday. So I got to watch some of that one, and it was kind of ugly early. The Texans scored 22 points in the fourth quarter, and so the Rams decided they needed some help, went and traded for Von Miller today. Did you get rumblings that they were going to make a move like that while you were getting ready for this game?
No, not at all. you wonder if that was part of the reason for the Kenny Young trade last week, because I think that one caught a lot of people by surprise. Kenny had played really well this season, started every game for him, was one of their inside linebackers, could play both positions, was the guy who was on there when it was a single linebacker defensive personnel grouping. It led the team in tackles for losses, which is pretty impressive when you've got Leonard Floyd and Aaron Donald there. So I think a lot of people were surprised last week when Kenny got traded, and maybe this is the reason why. Maybe conversations that already started last week. They're missing that component opposite Leonard Floyd right now. But you can tell they are absolutely all in to try and win a Super Bowl in the next 2 years, maybe 3 years. But you've got Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, you add Von Miller, you bring in Matthew Stafford. Your wide receiver group is playing really, really well right now. This is probably the last year for Andrew Whitworth. That offensive line was young 3 years ago. They've grown up together. It's as good a team as Sean McVay has had since going back to 2018 when they were in the Super Bowl against Patriots. I just think they're all in. And you've kind of had that feeling, this whole offseason building up to this year, that the Rams were pushing their chips to the center of the table. And I think this Von Miller signing is another indication of that. You need that other piece opposite Leonard Floyd. They've had a couple of guys there that look like they might be promising, but they haven't been able to take that next step. So now you've got edges inside, and then you've got Jalen Ramsey playing that star position where he's all over the field from the linebacker level to the deep safety spot. So, I think that it shows again that the Rams are aggressively pursuing another opportunity at the Super Bowl.
They are. What will the domino effect be? Because I look at, the other top teams in the NFC. Do they see what the Rams just did? And maybe they weren't planning to do much on the trade deadline, whether it be Dallas or Tampa Bay, some of the teams you expect to be there. Or do you see, the Cowboys or the Bucs making a move just to try to compete? If the Rams are all in, do we got to push our chips to the center of the table too?
Well, I think that the other teams would be confident in being able to block the edges. I mean, you look at Tampa Bay, they've got Shaq Barrett and Jason Pierre-Paul there. So if you've played Tampa Bay, you've gone up against that. Leonard Floyd and Von Miller is going to be similar. The other teams on the top, Green Bay, Rodgers gets the ball out so fast, they may look at that and say, that doesn't scare us. That doesn't concern us. I don't think you react because somebody else has made a move. I think the big thing is you've been building confidence with your guys. If you feel there's somebody out there that you need to add, there's a position that you need to upgrade before the trade deadline tomorrow because that's the best thing for you, then that's one thing. But if you watch one of the opponents that's out there that's at the top of the NFC and they've made a move and now you feel you have to do something to keep pace, then you're coming at it from the wrong perspective, in my opinion. You should feel good. You should have already made that move coming in. If there was something that was there, you should have heard rumbling. You should have heard people talking about potential draft moves. And that's why I think, I don't want to say desperation by the Rams, but I mean, just this commitment that, hey, we are taking a shot at this. Stafford's playing lights out. We've got good pieces in place, but on the backside of this, what is going to happen to this Rams organization? I mean, they don't have any draft picks pick for a long time. Yeah, exactly. I mean, if this doesn't work out, if all the chips are to the center of the table and then you bust, this is going to be a long, long rebuild for the Rams.
It's certainly interesting. And before I let you go, Daryl, you had the Texans game this week. I've never met David Coley in person. I don't know him, but I like David Coley. How is he handling what's going on in Houston, just on a personal level? You get a chance to visit with him as the broadcaster.
Yeah, the same thing as you just said, Jason. I'd never really met David Culley before. I was so impressed with him. His demeanor is fantastic. I think he is definitely the right guy for that opportunity in Houston. The thing that I really enjoyed about him is he knows how important the culture and the chemistry of the organization is. And so last week during the Mark Ingram trade, there was a lot of discussion about what David Culley had said to Mark Ingram. He brought him with him from Baltimore because he wanted to be a run-first offense and he needed veteran leadership. And he thought that Mark Ingram was the perfect guy to have there. And he has done that. I mean, he has been one of those guys. And when you're a new coach coming in, you've got to have some of those players that have been with you in the past, so the teammates can ask him about, hey, what's Coach Culley really like? And you're going to get, you get the straight talk from the guy that's been around. When they traded Mark Ingram, I agreed with some of the Houston writers. Well, nobody's safe right now. I mean, if that guy who was so important in the mind of David Culley is now on the trading block, then there's absolutely nobody safe. And how do you play well in an environment where you don't feel like you could be there the next day? And when we had an opportunity to visit with him, and he took us through that whole story, at the end of it, you feel completely different, because what actually happened is the Saints called and they turned him down at first. And then the Saints called again. And because Mark Ingram had started his career for 8 years with the New Orleans Saints and had a connection there, that was the only team that they were going to do this. So they bring Mark Ingram into the room, invite him into the conversation, and say, hey, here's what's going on right now. What do you want to do? We're struggling here. You've been great for us. I know you'll be exactly who I wanted you to be moving forward with this organization. But you got a chance to go back to New Orleans and make a playoff run. And we'd love to have your input on what you want to do. And he said he'd enjoy the opportunity to go back to New Orleans and take a shot. So they do trade. And they don't get a whole lot for him. They get a 7th-round pick in 2024. That's not real helpful for a guy that you've brought in to kind of set the example and be the guy and be a veteran leader, help build that culture. So that's one of the things that I was really impressed by. And he adamantly said, he's like, Daryl, you got to understand, I don't care what the voices on the outside say. I only worry about what the voices on the inside say. Those are the people that are important to me. And when Brandon Cooks kind of spouted off on Twitter after the trade, once Brandon Cooks found out exactly how everything unfolded, he was completely on board and completely blown away by a coaching staff that would handle it that way. So he's putting the right key pieces in place. It's just going to take time. I mean, for the Houston Texans, it's going to be like turning an oil tanker for them. It's going to be a long, slow trip because they're just really, really far behind the 8 ball. The previous organization and administration really, really did a number on them.
Yeah, I certainly did. Daryl, always appreciate the time, my friend. We'll visit with you again next week.
You got it. Take care, Jason.
Appreciate it. Mondays with the Moose, Daryl Johnston. Incredible story there about David Culley and the way they've got to turn that battleship around. And, Bill O'Brien, enjoy Alabama, man. It's tough. We'll talk some Spurs coming up. Jeff Traylor will join us in about 10 minutes. Try to tell you about my friends over at Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heating, and AC. If you're dealing with any issues at the house with your plumbing or your AC unit, you know there's only one company to call, and that is Quarter Moon at 210-651-5899. 651-5899. And you know it's going to get cold soon. You need to get your heater checked up, make sure it is ready to go for the winter months. You want to get that maintenance done at Quarter Moon. They have great maintenance programs that ensures your unit is ready for every season. 210-651-5899 is the phone number. 651-5899, or go online, quartermoonplumbing.com.
The 2021 World Series is on. Play ball! The Astros, the Braves, fighting for the right to be called world champions. And we've got the action live. The Fall Classic is on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Rock the Mic is back at Slacker Sports and Arcade Bar. If you have what it takes to jump on the air with us at San Antonio Sports Star, go to sasportstar.com now to upload your best take, and then join us this week at a Slackers near you. On Wednesday, we'll be at Slackers Medical Center, and Thursday, Slackers Nacogdoches location. And you can enter to wear a pair of Dallas Cowboys tickets just for stopping by. Rock the Mic 2021, brought to you by Slacker Sports and Arcade Bar, and in part by Jim Beam.
When it comes to social distancing, if 6 feet is not enough with your spouse, it's probably time to change your status. Call DivorceDude.com at 210-201-0303 and ask for Mark, the Divorce Dude with Pulling Law PLLC. DivorceDude.com can help you get a fast, affordable, agreed divorce. But if you want to fight, the Divorce Dude can fight for you. DivorceDude.com gives you easy legal options and sticks with you every step of the way. If the marriage is over, why fight? DivorceDude.com.
Any supplier can drop a box outside your door. But if you want a partner who delivers great customer service too, rely on Cintas. Your dedicated service reps can deliver what you need to help your business run smoothly. From essential cleaning products to hygienically cleaned apparel, fire protection services to first aid and safety supplies. That service you can't get from a box.
Oh, I'm ready!
Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
Finding the right Medicare plan may feel impossible, but now it's anything but. With Walgreens Find RX coverage tool, you can compare plans online, over the phone, or in person, making Medicare easier than ever. Easier than picking which true crime doc to watch, figuring out that Wi-Fi password, or putting the duvet cover back on. So if you can do those things, with Find RX coverage, you can definitely Medicare. Find the plan that's right for you by visiting walgreens.com/Medicare.
Guys, stop what you're doing. Give me a few seconds of your time and let me give you a piece of advice that will change your love life forever. Have you noticed you've been losing a little pep in your step? Has your lady friend asked you, is everything okay? Do you find yourself having trouble rising for the occasion? Do you stress out before that special moment and wonder, is it gonna work? Guys, I'm going to let you in on a big secret. You don't ever have to worry again. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula has you covered. Mojo is the 100% guaranteed male enhancement formula that guarantees lasting success, if you know what I mean. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula is safe, natural, and effective every single time, guaranteed. Mojo is available in a fast-acting spray and a quick-action capsule. Do yourself and her a favor and call Pure Line Nutrition in San Antonio today. They'll get you set up for success. Call 210-494-2210. That number again is 210-494-2210. Mojo Male Enhancement, only available at Pure Line Nutrition.
Saturday afternoons mean one thing: college football. Oh my God! Hear games from all Power 5 conferences all season long, every Saturday from San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Everything's bigger in Texas. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
This is Manu Ginobili.
This is Matt Bonner.
Hi, this is DeJounte Murray.
This is Daryl Johnston from the San Antonio Spurs. This is San Antonio Sports Star.
It's game night, San Antonio.
And an early tip-off for the San Antonio Spurs as they are playing the Pacers. They're in Indianapolis. Game gets going just after 6 o'clock. You can watch it on Bally Sports Southwest. And the Spurs coming off of a huge win on the road over the weekend. They beat the world champion Milwaukee Bucks on their home court. DeJounte Murray was incredible in the fourth quarter of that game as he is taking over as the lead dog on this team. You kind of expected it to be him or Keldon Johnson, and it certainly seems like DeJounte is taking over that role. It's going to be interesting to just watch the Pacers tonight as Rick Carlisle has taken over as their head coach in his first year. Thad Young, is he going to play more? What are they going to do? Interesting game today for the San Antonio Spurs as they close out this road trip at Indiana, and quite honestly should be able to make it 2 wins in a row before they come back. The sad news for the Spurs, if you want to look at it that way, McDermott doesn't get to play against his former team. Spurs Pacers, 6 o'clock on Valley Sports Southwest. We'll keep you updated on that game through the next hour here on the Blitz. But coming up next, the man that just signed a 10-year contract with the UTSA Roadrunners, head coach Jeff Traylor, will join us next here on the Blitz. But first, let me tell you about Sammy's Embroidery Club down on San Pedro. You know it's going to get cold, so if you're a business owner, a manager, a club leader, you just need some winter gear with your logo on it, you need to get into Sammy's Embroidery Club because Sam has his winter line on display right now in his showroom. Jackets, coats, hoodies, half zips, beanies, and he's got all the big name brands: North Face, Eddie Bauer, Nike, Port Authority, and Sam has stock. Not many can say that, but Sam has plenty of stocks, including hats in stock. He has the largest selection of caps, including the popular Richardson style cap. He has over 700 uniform lines to choose from, and not just embroidery. Can do silkscreen shirts for any occasion. Sammy's Embroidery and Printing. Nobody has better prices. Sam has all the big name brands and is the only company in Texas with one-day turnaround, and all items do come with a warranty. Call Sammy's Embroidery Club at 210-824-3900, 824-3900, or better yet, go by that massive showroom. It's on San Pedro, 1 mile inside Loop 410, next to Big Lots across from McDonald's, or check the website, samsembroidery.com. samsembroidery.com for Sammy's Embroidery Club.
Listeners of the Paul Feinbaum Show come from all parts of the South.
I live in the mountains.
They're passionate about the SEC.
I've been drinking a little beer this afternoon, and I've got the feeling that we're going to beat Georgia by 3.
They're a rowdy bunch.
Woo! Yeah, Pig, do it!
And they're the most honest people you will ever meet.
Yeah, do like me. I've given up women and turned to porn.
There's nothing like the SEC. Talk SEC with Paul Feinbaum. Weekdays 2 to 4, San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
At Manrique Custom Vision, you'll find some people just aren't good candidates for Z-LASIK. That's why they have different technologies for different patients. They are a custom vision center focused on helping people get rid of their glasses and contacts. Rudy J here. Call them today for a complimentary consultation to see what's right for you. Financing is offered to all, FSA and medical spending accounts accepted. Get treated like family by Dr. Manrique. Call 354-2020 for the Manrique difference. That's 354-2020.
The Roo Pub is the best place to watch a game. Football, basketball, the big fights, they have them on at the Roo on their 3 massive 170-inch laser screens and TVs all around. Come hungry, the food is fantastic, and the kitchen is open until 2 a.m. every day with the full menu available. The Roo Pub has the best darts area in town, indoor cornhole and weekday happy hour from 11 to 6. For lunch, dinner, or late at night, and the best place to watch a game, get into the Roo Pub at 281 in Redmond Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
Is your prostate waking you up more often than your alarm clock? The fact is, the older you get, the more likely you'll have prostate problems, which can affect your everyday life. That's where Prostate Complete by Real Health comes in. Prostate Complete is the result of 20 years of experience as a leader in men's health. The powerful formula in Prostate Complete supports natural prostate function and reduced urinary urges for a better quality of life. Available at Walmart. Visit prostate1perday.com for special offers. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
500,000 businesses connect using Zoom, a single platform for video, phone, chat, and conference rooms. Zoom enables real-time collaboration no matter where your teams are. Global enterprises trust the easy-to-use, reliable, and secure Zoom platform to power high-performance teams. Empower your workforce with Zoom. Save 15% on meetings, chat, and phone with a Zoom United bundle. Visit zoom.com/bundle. Zoom, how the world connects.
Injuries happen, so if you twist, pull, pop, or snap something, you need Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Dr. Espinosa treats all non-surgical orthopedic injuries and has same-day and next-day availability. Telemedicine services are also available. There is no reason to be in pain. If you are hurting, visit Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Learn more at TSAOG.com. That's TSAOG.com, or schedule your appointment by calling 210-804-5490.
One team, one mission. KZDC, San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Jason Minix, The Blitz.
It is The Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. I'm Jason Minix. Hope you guys had a great weekend. A lot of you might have had a really good weekend, but I don't know many that had a better weekend than our next guest. Head coach of the 16th ranked UTSA Roadrunners, Jeff Traylor, joining us now. Coach, take us through last week when we talked at this time. There was a lot of odd questions, a lot of speculation. Today, you've got a new 10-year contract valued at $28 million. Congrats. Take us through the process.
Well, it's something President Amy, Dr. Campos, and I have been working on since this summer. Those things just take a long time to get done. It's a long contract. There's a lot of things in it for the future of our program. We got to keep moving. We know we're not there, but each year it kind of gets a little bit better for my coaches, for facilities, for our students. There's just so many things in it, and we had targeted the open week. We didn't know we were going to be 8-0. We didn't know there was going to be so much speculation, but as the speculation just got so high, the questions were asked so much. I just thought it was fair to my kids to go ahead and get this over with, so we could lay it to bed, so we could get to moving on. We have a very special opportunity this year, and I didn't want to mess it up by everybody talking about me and not my players.
Well, Coach, I don't want to violate too many culture pillars here, but I'll do the push-ups and whatever's necessary if you'll let me indulge for a couple of minutes, because I got to admit I was wrong. I thought you were going to take one of those jobs, and when you're looking at life-changing money for your family, how do you not? And I said on the air last week, I want Coach Traylor to stay, but he's got to strike while the iron is hot. And it turns out it was UTSA that struck while the iron was hot. I didn't think UTSA had that kind of budget for coaches at this point.
Well, obviously, moving up to the AAC helped us tremendously with those TV contracts. There's more money coming in now. There's also an unbelievable commitment from our boosters. There was just a bunch of people that really rallied. They really want to see this thing get off the ground. And, I can name the 100 or 200 of them that just really stepped up. And they just want to make sure we do this thing. And, there's a sense of it that, I know that I could have gotten more in other places, right? I get all that. But it's not like they just gave me pennies. And how much does a man need? I mean, I'm grateful. I have a sense of loyalty to Dr. Campos and President Amy. We love San Antonio. My wife, Carrie, just my children. We all love it here. And you can't buy happy. And we got a lot left to do. I know we're not Power 5 yet, but I know we're moving in the right direction. And who knows where this thing's going to be in 10 years. I just have a strong belief in the city of San Antonio, our university, and for sure my players. Those suckers are absolute ballers.
Well, and I'll tell you what, the video that circulated with Dr. Campos announcing to your team that you are locked up for the next 10 years, if anybody's ever questioned when you talk about the love between you and your players, we got a good inside glimpse of it. That was as genuine as it gets, because when that video starts and she starts talking, I don't think those kids were expecting her to make that announcement.
No, I felt terrible. I could see in their eyes. They were really, really scared, and I didn't like that. I was trying to smile so they'd know it was going to be okay. She kind of got on to me because she wanted our video team in there, and I didn't bring them in there. I was scared they might boo me. I wasn't sure what they were going to do, right? But luckily, JJ comes to a lot of our practices, so he happened to be there, and he just happened to have his cell phone out and got it filmed. So I'm glad somebody captured it. It will literally be one of those moments. When you make decisions, Jason, especially one that's 10 years, you try to do everything right. You talk to the right people. You pray about it. You want to make sure you're doing things the right way. And when those kids reacted that way for me, it was one of those moments that just reinforced, look, brother, you've done the right thing.
You have Jeff Traylor joining us here on the Blitz, and I'm glad that video was there. I'm glad you let JJ in the room for something like that, because that was just one of those great moments, and you're happy for the players, happy for the program, for you, your family. At what point, because I've heard a couple of the different media sessions you've done, this morning Zoom call and last night with Don Harris, when did you guys actually get the deal done? Because even Lisa Campos, the day that it was announced that UTSA was moving to the AAC, said that you guys had been working on a new contract. But when the rumor started, all of a sudden, boom, it's done and announced. When did you guys actually get it all finalized?
Between her and I and President Amy, sooner than you would think. I'd say 7 to 10 days before it was announced. But, Board of Regents got to make sure. There's other things you got to go through, lawyers, my agents, their lawyers, just getting through all the details. I knew it was headed in a good direction 7 to 10 days ago, but the ink would probably dry Saturday or Friday, which is another thing I want to brag on. Our Board of Regents, my agent, President Amy, Dr. Campos, it didn't get leaked. It stayed tight. I wanted my kids to be the first one to hear it. I did not want them to read about it on Twitter. And we kept that Friday all the way to Sunday at 4:20 with that team meeting. Nobody found out about it. So I'm very grateful that all those people honored my request to keep that private from the media for my kids' sake.
Well, and I'll tell you what, man, don't play poker with Jeff Traylor, because, you look at a 7 to 10 day window, all the rumors. And I said on the air a couple times last week, I gave you a ton of credit, Coach, for doing all your media obligations, knowing the questions about the tech job were going to come, deflecting them, as best you could, because it would have been very easy for you to say, hey, it's our bye week. I'm out recruiting. I'm not doing any media this week. And you didn't. I gave you a ton of credit for that. Now I just know you were playing poker. I know not to play poker with you, Coach.
I really wasn't playing poker. I do appreciate that you guys have a job. And I don't necessarily like it when you ask me about my 4-minute offense, Jason, but I know like you have a job to do, right? And it's just part of the deal. And as long as I don't take it personal and y'all don't ever take it personal, y'all have work to do. So I'm going to always do my very best to be open, because we all have things we have to do in our own jobs. And that's why I did that. And it is tough, because you never, ever want to tell a lie. And that's hard when you get cornered on certain questions. That's when you kind of get frustrated. Just want to say, you know what, I'm tired of trying. But most of the time, you guys have just been so wonderful to me. I just felt obligated to make sure and try to help you all the best I could.
We appreciate it. And again, I'm putting that timeline together going, man, I knew they were working on it. I don't know if years and numbers got a lot bigger as the rumors started, but either way, and I'm sure they did, but I'm glad that it got done. And it's not just, as you mentioned, you took less than what you could have got on some of those other places. You're still getting a lot, but you could have gotten a lot more. I was a little surprised that it didn't come in at 2.1, so it'd be 2.10 with that triangle of toughness going all the way around. But I look at the commitment to you personally, but also your staff and the other facility money that was built in there. Talk about the importance of that aspect of this contract and how you worked it into your deal.
That's the biggest part of it. If I lose my guys, there's going to be a turnover, and we're just not going to be as effective. And I understand it. We can't compete possibly with the Power Fives yet. Now we're moving that way. We are.
You said yet twice, Coach.
And that contract is set to continue to help my coaches. We added staff, which we need tremendously. We're adding to our budget so our kids can get more nutritional food in the weight room. We're adding staff to our weight room. Our facility upgrade. So it's not, and we know, President Amy, Dr. Compost, we all know in our university, we're not there yet, but we're trying to make that thing so when we hit the AAC, we can at least be competitive and not starting off behind the 8 ball from the very jump street, Jason.
That's incredible. So you guys, you make the announcement. You're a simple guy. You've said that many times, and I've been around you in social settings. You're pretty simple. So I won't ask how you celebrated. But how did Mrs. Traylor celebrate?
She was in New Orleans with Jordan for the Saints game. And so I was at home with just Izzy and I, and got to lay on the white couch. Didn't get shamed at all while she was gone. And, it was just one of those days, me and the dog watching some football, and I didn't leave the house. I was by myself the entire day. I watched the FAU game versus UTEP. Got to watch this college football. I've got so many friends that are coaching. And prayed a lot. Want to make sure I was doing the right thing. And I think I pushed the button on my phone to make it all final about 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock that Saturday. It was an emotional experience for me because it's such a commitment from both sides. And I'm just grateful, Jason. I'm so grateful. There was a sense of loyalty I felt to Dr. Compost and President Amy because they picked me. I wasn't the sexiest hire. I doubt all you guys are just raving about the hire when it happened. And I'll always be grateful for that. And I want to always make those two feel like they did the right thing. There's a loyalty to the Texas High School Coaches Association that I feel very strongly about, that I want to make sure I make those guys look good. And I can't tell you how many of them have reached out to me. And I'm so grateful. I mean that. I'm going to get emotional on the phone right now. I'm a straw that gets to stir the tea. And when I'm adding my sweet and low and my lemon to my tea, that's all I am. I'm just a straw stirring the drink, and the drink's way bigger than me. And I'm just glad to be here, brother.
Well, I'll tell you what, Coach. I know what you did at Gilmer. You know how involved I am with high school football. The legend you were, and I remember you saying at some point you wanted to stay a high school coach until your kids were out of the house, and then you were going to try the college route, and you got that first job there at UT. Even you, with whatever personal goals you had, are you a little surprised or numb in the sense that your first head coaching job in the middle of your second year, you get a 10-year contract worth what it's worth?
Your dreams have got to be so large, your prayer life has to match it. So when your dreams come true, there's no way I get the credit for it. This is way bigger than me. There's a lot of forces at work here that I'll never be able to explain. But I know that I'm grateful. And you're exactly right. Anybody that's been on the ride that I've been on for 32 years, if you don't pinch yourself occasionally and go, how's this happening to me? You're an arrogant rascal. And I don't ever want to be that, Jason.
You're not. You just got to get your equipment, got to order a couple of cases of those crispy white hats that you always have on, because you're going to be here for a long time. Now, Coach, I don't want to violate too many of the pillars. Let's talk about UTEP. You got a big game on Saturday, and I know you practiced hard last week, avoided the distraction as much as you could. Now you get to dial in and focus on taking on a UTEP team on national TV. And UTEP, I've got a friend that went to UTEP, and he tells me, they're kind of like K-State back in the day when they'd come in and bite Texas. They're methodical. What do you see from UTEP on tape?
Great analogy. Dana worked for Bill Snyder. He knows that. That's their model. I mean, they play a slow style of football. They're big up front. They're committed to the run game. They'll throw the ball down the football field. Defensively, 4 down front. Very, very talented. They don't run a ton of stuff, but they get after you. Really good on 3rd down. They turn the ball over, and they're a really good football team. He's done a fantastic job. One of the great stories in college football this year, and I'm happy for those guys. And it's going to be a tough environment now. That Sun Bowl at 9:15, national TV, it's going to be a little bit of a hornet's nest when we go in there.
9:15, what do you do all day?
We worked hard on that. I don't want them in their room for 6 hours, right? But at the same time, I don't want to work them out either, because they got to play that night. So it's a tough deal. We're still working on that schedule as we speak, talking to our leadership council, my single-digit guys, to make sure we get that thing where our kids are optimizing their performance that night.
Is it tough? I was my daughter goes to Arizona State, as you know, and we went to the ASU Washington State game in Tempe on Saturday, and it was their homecoming game. It should have been a night game. They were having a blackout, and instead they made it a noon kickoff. And Herm said there was just something about that early start. They had 3 turnovers to start, then a turnover on downs on their first 4 possessions. Just an ugly game for Arizona State. But they didn't look ready to go that early, because they all wanted it to be a night game for Halloween and some of the stuff that was going on Friday, I guess, around campus. How do start times affect your game plan going in?
Well, you just got to be aware of it. You got to talk to your leadership council about it. Those single-digit guys, you've got to empower your team nowadays. I mean, you just got to give the players a whole lot more control of what our generation's used to doing. And if it's their idea, it works. If it's my idea, it doesn't work. It's just like my 3 children at the house. I got to somehow make Rashad Wisdom and Frank Harris believe it was their idea. If I can do it, we got a chance to chase it.
9:15 start, man. It's going to be a fun day for those that are going up there, and it's going to be on ESPN2. With that, I know your guys have to be excited about that. Just everything that's coming their way. Ranked 16th. They know you've committed long-term. It's one thing to talk about it, but when you put your signature on a 10-year deal, that talk is over. That helps this group. That's got to help your recruiting, because, people recruiting against you are saying, well, Traylor's going to be gone, man. Don't go there. All of that, right? I mean, it's just such an incredible time at UTSA.
You'd be shocked at the players that are calling us right now. It's mind-boggling. The level of talent that's calling us as we speak. It's very flattering. That's why we did it, though. We did it for our players, our future players, for our boosters, our alumni, our fans. We just deserve this moment. This university and this team deserves this moment. This does not need to be about Jeff Traylor. It's got to stop it. It's got to be about my players. So I really thought if I got in front of this, probably my agents were against it, right? You talk about leverage.
Well, sure.
I gave up a lot of leverage right now, but I didn't care. For my players' sake, in that video we all saw my players, it was worth it to me.
It's worth it for all of us, because at least for now, you know where everybody stands in the direction of this university. Like I said, I didn't think UTSA had that. I'm honestly surprised and stunned that at this point UTSA was able to pull that off. I credit Dr. Campos and Mr. Amy for being able to do that. I just didn't think that was possible.
And our board of regents. I mean, our boosters. There were so many people that came together, which is why we started on it so long ago. We knew this was going to take a collaboration of a lot of people, and a lot of people were going to have to sign off on it. And they made it easy on me, believe it or not. They really did, because if they were going to do their part, I was going to do mine. And they made it easy. Once they made it official that we could get all of that done, I was more worried about my assistant coaches, my players, the facilities. Obviously, I want to eat too, but I'm more worried about all those other people. And that's why I hire an agent to talk about me. I did all the dealing for everybody else on our part.
Well, you got it done. You talk about eating. Next time you get all your coaches' friends that show up in San Antonio, you go down to Pinkerton's Barbecue, and you're going to end up buying, man. You're going to be buying a lot of meals over the next several months.
Yeah, and Grant's not cheap down there. So, brother, I'm coming, and I got to pay for the bill. So cut me a deal, Grant. Cut me a deal.
Absolutely, man. Incredible stuff, Coach. Congratulations. Ranked 16th in the country. I'll violate culture violations when you're done, but you start talking about different where you're going bowling, because I mean you got the shirts already made. I've seen them. You're going somewhere, but I mean there's a lot of big stuff in the future that we won't talk. I won't ask you that yet, Coach. But
yeah, you just know it's going to be a boring answer. I'm going to give you the win the day speech. That's all I got in my pocket right now, brother.
Hey, man, that's all you need. That's all you need right now, because you keep winning the day, and we'll be talking about a January bowl game.
Well, I appreciate you so much, Jason. You've been fantastic. Other than your 4-minute offense critique, I love everything we've ever talked about.
Well, I mean, at some point, we've got to get an answer to that. But you taught me something on that too. I mean,
we only scored 56 that night. You still couldn't make you happy.
I mean, I was happy with the win, but I'm kind of like a coach. Have you ever walked into a film session after a game and said, "Guys, it was perfect. We got nothing to do, man. Let's go."
No, I'm just as mad at everything y'all ever asked me. I'm in my headphones saying, "What in the heck was I thinking on that deal?" I can already promise you that.
You know what? You signed up for the business that gets critiqued every day. Not many of us could do that.
Well, I appreciate it. Y'all been fantastic, and thanks for having me on again.
Always. We'll talk to you next week, Coach. Congratulations again, not only to you, but your staff and the program for getting it all done. And I will say I am happy to be wrong, because I didn't think this was going to happen. I thought next time I talk to you, it would be you talking about the new place. I am so glad that you guys were able to get that done and prove me wrong.
Yeah, no way I could have gone in that locker room and told those kids. Just no way. There's just nothing right about that. So I'm really glad to still be with them.
Good deal. Coach, we'll talk to you next week. Good luck on Saturday against UTEP.
Yes, sir, Jason. Thank you. God bless. Birds up.
Birds up for sure. Birds up big time. It's such an incredible deal. Jeff Traylor joining us, brought to you by Pinkerton's Barbecue. And again, you look at the fact that UTSA was able to pull that off, and he touched on it. The salary pool for the assistant coaches and the other stuff that they need to compete. You look at UTSA's athletic budget right now is somewhere around $30 million, and that's going to go up. Texas Tech is at $88 million. I was in Phoenix over the weekend at Arizona State. If you ever go through a program like that, I mean, it's one thing to go to UT or to A&M or to Alabama, but I kind of like looking at the programs that aren't necessarily the national powers, and Arizona State's a great example of that. And even the facilities that Herm Edwards has there, and what Herm Edwards has been able to get built at Arizona State. UTSA is not there yet. But did you notice Jeff Traylor talked about Power 5 twice during that conversation and emphasized the word yet twice? Now, you look at the last week, 7 to 10 days, they've been working on that. He did get a chuckle when I talked about years and dollars. So, the contract's been in the works. But the rumors helped elevate it in a couple ways. We'll never know probably how much. But if Texas Tech did make some sort of offer, I'm sure that was factored in. He could have gotten more at a Power 5 school. But he got a lot more than what he has now. But I look at like the facilities that they've got to get to. You know, there is a kid that plays at Arizona State, grad student, was at A&M, that lives in my daughter's apartment complex. And you talk to him about what they have at Arizona State compared to A&M. And then you think about where UTSA is going. And that new race facility is pretty incredible, but it is certainly there. And for all of you that keep saying you want a stadium on campus, dude, it was 87 degrees on Saturday afternoon there at Sun Devil Stadium. 87. Outside, sun beating down on you. I was wearing a hat, and I think I still got a sunburn on my bald spot, my Manu spot there. It was so freaking hot. It was stupid for that noon game. You don't realize how beautiful the Alamo Dome is when it's air conditioned. When you talk about a Saturday afternoon game. I mean, because when you're tailgating in the parking lot, you're drinking a lot of beer at reasonable prices. You're not buying $18 beers, right? I'm just saying that Saturday at Sun Devil Stadium, I am a bigger fan of the Alamo Dome today than I was on Friday. And it was only 87 degrees. Imagine if it was September and 112 in Phoenix.
But that was a dry heat.
Yes. Take your dry heat and... Dude, their 87 is different than our 87. I mean, I swear I thought it was 100. I mean, you are just literally soaked in sweat. I mean, it's not like Houston swamp ass. I mean, it wasn't that. It was just hot.
No, that's soaked.
I mean, it was just, dude, Alamo Dome is beautiful. Just pack it. Air conditioning is a wonderful, wonderful thing. Just telling you, it is there. Congrats to Jeff Traylor. Certainly appreciate him coming on and all that he does. Incredible that UTSA was able to come up with that kind of money and that kind of commitment. Again, $7.5 million buyout for some of these bigger schools. But I listen to Jeff Traylor. I think he's happy. He's happy. He's very happy. As he said, he couldn't have gone into that locker room and told those kids he was out. Just saying. I know he drives a nice vehicle from Ancira. You know, Ancira spends and donates and supports the UTSA program a ton. Keep that going. You need to go get your next car at Ancira Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram truck, part of the Ancira I-10 Auto Complex. If you're shopping for a new vehicle, you know there's no better place to go than Ancira, and I can tell you that firsthand because I am a longtime Ancira customer. And it's because of their great customer service before, during, and most importantly, after the sale. When you start the car buying process, they're going to make sure you're getting the vehicle you want with all the options and features that you're looking for. They'll give you great value on your trade-in, the best rebates and financing options that are available, and their service after the sale is second to none. And you know price made Ancira number one. Price keeps Ancira number one. So think Ancira. Ancira Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram truck, part of the Ancira I-10 Auto Complex on I-10 West between Wurzbach and Heathner. Let's get a Sports Center update before we visit with Clint Stoerner. Here's James Pleasure.
Thanks, Jason. In the NBA, currently in the first quarter, Spurs taking on the Pacers up in Indiana. The Pacers lead that game 30-21 with 3 minutes and 27 seconds left in the first quarter. In the NFL, the Dallas Cowboys won their sixth straight, and this one without Dak Prescott as Cooper rushed through for 325 yards, including the game-winning touchdown to Amari Cooper in a 2016 win over the Vikings up in Minnesota. Injuries hit him, though, as Trayvon Diggs suffered a sprained ankle in the win, while rookie linebacker Jabril Cox suffered a torn ACL and will now miss the remainder of the season. While the Cowboys won their sixth straight, the Houston Texans lost their sixth straight, falling at home to the Los Angeles Rams 38-22. In Major League Baseball, The Houston Astros avoided elimination and survived a first-inning grand slam as they beat the Braves in Atlanta 9-5 last night, as they now trail 3-2 in that best-of-7 series. Houston attempts to try and force a Game 7 as it shifted back to Houston. First pitch for Game 6 is set for 7:09 tomorrow as Luis Garcia is expected to get the start, a game you can catch right here on San Antonio Sports Star. I'm James Pledger.
ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Did you know that United Healthcare helps connect you to doctors and therapists with 24/7 access to virtual care?
So I could have therapy from my couch?
Yep.
Or a doctor appointment from my car?
If you wanted to.
Wait, you're right. I don't even like when people see me sing in the car. Couch appointment it is. Virtual visits are just one of the ways United Healthcare helps connect you to better health. Learn more at uhc.com. Plan benefits may vary.
Fever is the leading symptom of COVID and the flu, and the only way to reliably detect it is with an accurate thermometer. Be vigilant and be accurate with the Exergen Temporal Scanner, whose accuracy has been proven in more than 100 clinical studies. Don't rely on non-contact thermometers. They are proven to be inaccurate and will not reliably detect a fever that might mean COVID. Be sure to seek medical advice at the first sign of fever. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Dig a trench, gravel the driveway, remove a tree stump. To tackle the big jobs, you need the power of Kubota. At Ewald Kubota, we have the tractors and construction equipment to get it done fast and get it done right. You've come to rely on the quality and dependability of Kubota compact tractors and implements, and at Ewald Kubota, rental equipment is available at all of our locations. Right now, all new rental customers get 10% off their first rental. For a store near you, visit ewaldkubota.com.
Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds. Score points with some of the boldest keto-friendly, protein-packed, and low-carb snacks out there. And with their new Southern Recipe Small Batch 6-bag variety pack, you'll get to choose a different flavored pork rind every time. Find Southern Recipe Small Batch at your local HEB, and you'll always have pork rinds ready to go. Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds. Be big, be bold, be adventurous.
Southern Recipe Pork Rinds.
You love Zoom for video meetings? Now, choose Zoom to power your phone communications too. Zoom Phone works seamlessly within the Zoom app as your business phone system. Zoom Phone's secure HD audio and enterprise-grade reliability keep you connected to your teams and your customers. And it's easy to use on mobile, desktop, or desk phone. Empower your workforce with Zoom Phone. Zoom, how the world connects.
Susan, I'm sorry I'm late. Traffic is terrible.
It sure is. But on top of that, gas prices have been skyrocketing. I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Get Upside Gas app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Get Upside app?
Yes, up to 25 cents a gallon cash back every time I buy gas.
And does that actually add up to anything?
Some months I make $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Get Upside app now.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play to save up to 25 cents a gallon when you buy gas. Use promo code BILL for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 50 cents a gallon on your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or any gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code BILL for up to 50 cents a gallon cash back on your first tank. That's code BILL.
If you were hurt in a crash, it's important to act fast. Instead of haggling with insurance, just call Thomas J. Henry. Remember, the call is free and you don't pay us any fees unless we win your case. Don't leave your case to chance. Contact Thomas J. Henry today. Visit tjhlaw.com/radio to start your claim now. That's tjhlaw.com/radio. San Antonio, Texas.
Your exclusive home for the 2021 World Series. This is San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250, 94.5 FM. I'm Jason Munnis. Glad to have you along here on a Monday afternoon. Spurs, they beat the world champs the other night in Milwaukee. And now they're getting their butts kicked by the Pacers. It's 38-26 and a sloppy quarter of basketball from every time I turn up, they're screwing something up. They've given up 38 points. There's still a minute 45 left in this first quarter. They're playing, well, I don't want to say Houston Texans-like because there's not many that are that bad. Let's talk about, forget the Texans. Let's talk Astros. Our buddy Clint Stoerner from Sports Radio 610 in Houston, former Cowboy quarterback, joining us now as he does every Monday. Clint, how's your day going?
Man, the day is good. It's a reaction Monday after, look, let's be honest, man. There's one of the worst football teams that I've ever watched on film played yesterday. And when it's really good, it's fun to react to. And when it's really bad, it's fun to react to, man. And the Astros are in the World Series, so all is good down here, brother.
Absolutely. Let's start with the Astros. I was in Phoenix over the weekend, so flying in last night, I'm watching the NFL games on the iPad, the baseball game on the phone, thanks because Southwest has free TV, which I certainly appreciate. They give up a grand slam in the first inning, the Astros do, but still battle back and get a solid win to keep their season alive. Mentally, from an athlete standpoint, what does that do to carry? I'm not a fan of the travel day after a game like that, but to have game 6 and then a potential game 7 back in your own building.
Oh man, it's huge. I mean, it's an elimination game, and to get that win last night, it was a must win, obviously, because they would have been eliminated had they not won the ball game. But even if it weren't an elimination game, it was a must win because the Astros had the advantage in this game in terms of pitching the rest of the way, and they quickly lost that when Framber Valdez, the wheels came off of Framber Valdez. And so it was a game where even though when they were down 4-0, I mean, it was a game that they had to win and should have expected to win from the jump. So it was huge to get the W. It was huge to stay alive. And now you get to come home and try to extend this series and get to a deciding game 7. So, I mean, it's huge momentum to be able to come back like that. It's big to just be able to stay alive, the momentum that comes with that, Jason. So, I mean, look, this is a really talented baseball team, obviously, with the Astros. They're never out in terms, as long as they've got at-bats left, I think they feel like there's a chance. And so no surprise they came back, but man, the momentum and the energy that they'll gain from coming back to Houston is big.
Well, and again, the pressure, even though they've got 2 games to get 1 win, I think the pressure shifts back to the Atlanta Braves as, they could be another one of those that blow a 3-1 lead. And as an Astros fan, I'm hoping that's what happens. I know Dusty shifted the lineup a little bit. Do you expect the lineup that we saw last night to be there for tomorrow night's game 6?
Man, I don't know. Look, I think the entire, there's several guys that responded really well to the shakeup of the lineup. I mean, you look at what Correa was able to do. You look at what, I mean, Yuli, I don't think he checked up at all. And then Bregman, obviously, you can argue had the biggest hit of the game in a sense of getting the Astros off of that goose egg and getting the bats rolling, and enabling them to come up to get back to a 4-4 tie and get back in that ball game rather quickly. So I think the way that everybody responded was big for Dusty, and we can't ignore the fact that Yordan Alvarez is struggling mightily. And it's one thing to be, 1 for 13 or 2 for 14. There's several guys in this lineup that have struggled along the way. But when you look at a guy that's completely lost at the plate and frustrated overall, if you saw that last at-bat from Yordan Alvarez last night, he quit. I mean, he literally went up there, swung at 3 of the exact same very bad pitches that he couldn't have hit. I mean, if he had a damn, 2x4, he couldn't have hit it. And he just gave up. He's extremely frustrated. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Dusty didn't shake the lineup up a little bit more and switch Tucker and Alvarez before tomorrow night's first pitch.
It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Again, Game 6 of the World Series. You can listen to it here on San Antonio Sports Star tomorrow night at 7, right after the Blitz. Let's talk Texans. At Daryl Johnston on earlier, he had the call on Fox yesterday, and kind of went through David Culley saying that Culley is only worried about what's being said in the locker room, and he's blocking out the outside noise, that he's the right guy for that job and what they're going through right now throughout this rebuild process. But you look at, I know they scored 22 points in the fourth quarter. I got to admit, I was long gone from watching that Texans game by the time they scored points. So I read about how it happened, but I didn't see it. I mean, I saw a team that just didn't look like it could even compete with the Rams yesterday.
It's the worst football that I've covered in my time. I mean, I haven't been covering the game, the game of football. At a college or pro level, I've only been covering it for like 10 years. It's the worst football, relatively speaking, that I've ever seen. That their defense last year was the worst that I've ever seen. Their offense this year is the worst that I've ever seen. And I think if you look at the Texans overall this year, I think this is the worst football team that I've covered. And look, here's the deal: is you did the right thing. The game that you saw the Houston Texans play was the part that mattered. Let's not fool ourselves. In the fourth quarter, when the Rams put in their number twos off 22 straight points, that was not indicative of that game at all. That was an absolute skull dragging. The first three quarters are what mattered. The first three quarters, Texans are that far away from the better teams in this league. And I know one of the top teams in the league. I firmly believe that. But the product that the Texans put on the field was absolutely embarrassing. I said the Dave Campo of the Houston Texans.
Yeah, Clint, we're having some issues with your phone. You keep cutting out. I don't know if Pledge needs to try to reconnect and get a better line. He says try again. Clint, let's see if you've got a better connection there. Doesn't sound like it. Pledge, just try to reconnect with Clint Stoerner from Sports Radio 610, former Cowboy quarterback. And what you're seeing out of the Houston Texans, it is embarrassing. And quite frankly, I saw a photo on social media yesterday of NRG Stadium about 5 minutes before kickoff when the players were coming out. And that place looked so empty that even for an NFL game where bad teams people show up, they show up to boo their team. They show up with bags on their head. They show up to see the other guys. And it's an NFL game, and that stadium looks so empty. It was pathetic that the fan apathy is at that point as we get reconnected with Clint Stoerner. And Clint, I was just saying that, before kickoff, when the players were coming out for introduction, there was nobody in that building. I've never seen an NFL stadium that empty, even for a preseason game. Are fans in Houston that checked out on this team at this point?
Yeah, Jason, they are checked out on this team, and I don't blame them. I mean, when you look at what product is on the field, I mean, I said this last night. The foundation of an organization, it should be sound in year one of a rebuild. You should see things improve from the last regime. Now, should your record be better than 1-7? No, not necessarily so. But when your foundation and the things that you're going to build upon moving forward, when those things are, I mean, just they're suspect at best. I think you've got major problems. Let's take it from two angles, right? Number one, let's just look at the product that's on the field, Jason. I mean, you've got a head coach 8 weeks straight now has been talking about penalties. You've got a coach that 8 weeks now has been talking about a lack of communication on the defensive side of the football. This week it was gap integrity on the defensive side of the football for 4 quarters, not for 1 or 2 plays, but for 4 quarters. It's the same, response to games by the head coach and by this coaching staff over and over and over again. It's basic cover 2. You can't communicate it. It's basic cover 1. You can't communicate it. The product on the field giving the fan base absolutely nothing to look forward to, nothing to support. I think when you look at this culture they keep talking about building, Jason, which is a big part of the foundation. And last week you had Brandon Cooks, who is the face of their rebuild. It's their guy that they selected to be the face of this rebuild. And he talks about how the team trading Mark Ingram is BS and it's a joke. And he does it publicly on social media. Des King misses a team event and, on Friday or Saturday and ends up not playing in the game. Charles Omenihu, who's one of the better players, can't practice, doesn't practice well. So he doesn't play in the game. Jason, it's just whether you look at it from a culture perspective or a product perspective, this coaching staff and this regime has given this fan base absolutely nothing to hang on to, nothing to look forward to. And so it's no surprise that the fan base is not supporting. It's no surprise that, hell, when at kickoff this week, there was as many people in the stands as there were during the COVID-19 season when there was limited capacity. So it's no surprise if you're really paying attention to what's going on in Houston.
No, the fact that they're not even showing up just to boo or see the other team. It's an NFL game, and it's sad and embarrassing to see for the Houston Texans. Now, that said, Clint, do you expect them to be active tomorrow with the deadline?
Yeah, I do. I think you got several players here with the Texans that check several boxes that I think ultimately end up in them potentially being moved. I think you got Zach Cunningham is a linebacker that the former regime extended, and his performance probably isn't matching up, but he is a very talented player, and I think he could help a team down the stretch here. There's some value there in terms of getting draft capital in return. So I think you look at him. I think you look at Charles Omenihu, the former Texas Longhorn defensive lineman. For whatever reason, he's on the outs with this coaching staff, with this regime. I think he's one hell of a player. I think there's some draft capital they could get in return for him. I think you look at Lonnie Johnson, a safety corner that was a second-round pick a couple of years ago that, again, for whatever reason, is on the outs with this regime. I think there's some value there. And then when you look at Des King, I think Des King was, again, one of the veterans they brought in to kind of be a big part of the change here. For whatever reason, he's fell out of favor with this regime. I think there's some value there. There's a lot of teams that would love to have a really good slot corner, a punt returner. Really good punt returner in the small sample size that we've seen. I think any or all of those four guys could potentially be moved by the trade deadline tomorrow.
And it's going to be interesting to see where they go from here. And if they go back to Tyrod Taylor, you got Miami, then the bye. And, do you expect Taylor to come back, or do they just stick to Davis Mills and keep stacking the losses?
Well, if I were them, I would stick with Davis Mills and stack losses. But it wouldn't surprise me at all if they didn't go back to Tyrod Taylor. I think they could have went back to Tyrod Taylor last week, but they knew what they were up against in the Rams defense and Aaron Donald in particular. They knew the quarterback was not going to stand a chance. So why put your veteran quarterback that's injury prone? Why expose him to that? I think they go back to Tyrod Taylor. I think David Culley is in a really bad spot in terms of trying to keep his arms around this locker room at 1-7 with a lot of football left to be played. I think he's hoping for a lift, if you will. And I think Tyrod Taylor being reintroduced as a starting quarterback in a week when you've got one of the worst defenses in the NFL across the field from you, I think that could be the potential lift. Not to mention that going into a bye week would give you 3 weeks to a month of some kind of lift. Not that they're going to win ball games, but some kind of lift to where the head coach at least has the ability to keep his arms around the locker room for a month or 5 weeks moving down the stretch here.
It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. That is for sure. And I can't wait for tomorrow night, Game 6, and then Wednesday night, Game 7, and then the party is going to be on in Houston. That is for sure. Clint Stoerner, Sports Radio 610, former Cowboys quarterback. Always appreciate the time, my friend. We'll visit next week.
Jay, sorry for the connection problems, man. We'll get back at it next week, brother. Have a good one.
appreciate you. Clint Stoerner from Sports Radio 610 in Houston joining us here on the Blitz. Spurs making it interesting, 48-41. They gave up a ton of points in that first quarter. We'll talk about it as we continue here on the Blitz. First, let me tell you about Alamo Water Softeners. You know, I've had a water softener in my home from Alamo Water Softeners for over a decade now. Wouldn't live without one. You know you want the best water quality for your family, so go to alamowatersofteners.com. Schedule an appointment to have one of their whole home specialists come out to your house and give you a free water analysis and a customized plan for your family and home. And right now, Alamo Water Softeners is offering 0% financing for 2 years with approved credit. Take advantage of this same as cash offer on a water treatment bundle with special pricing so you can have the highest quality water treatment available at your home. Get a free standard gas or electric water heater when you purchase a select top-of-the-line water softener, a +1 filter, and a reverse osmosis system. Now is the time to take advantage of bundle pricing and 0% interest for 2 years with approved credit. Do like I've done. Discover the Alamo Water Softeners difference. Go to alamowatersofteners.com. That's alamowatersofteners.com.
The best arms in the game battling the best bats. Get the latest series news, updates, analysis, and more. Astros, Braves, the 2021 World Series. ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Is your prostate waking you up more often than your alarm clock? The fact is, the older you get, the more likely you'll have prostate problems, which can affect your everyday life. That's where Prostate Complete by Real Health comes in. Prostate Complete is the result of 20 years of experience as a leader in men's health. The powerful formula in Prostate Complete supports natural prostate function and reduced urinary urges for a better quality of life. Available at Walmart. Visit prostateoneperday.com for special offers. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Not all pizza places are the same. Mellow Mushroom originated hand-tossed, stone-baked classic Southern pizza. Not in the mood for pizza? Order a calzone, hoagie, sandwich, burger, or a mellow salad and see how care goes into every item on the menu. Take your pick from 24 draft beers and or handcrafted cocktails. And many of the pizzas can be made gluten-free or vegan. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 in Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
Joint pain relief doesn't have to mean drugs and surgery. Now there's a better alternative that patients are raving about. Hey, it's James Pledger for San Antonio Sports Star for my friends at QC Kinetics. Local medical professionals using natural biologic treatments, highly concentrated healing properties from your own body put directly into the affected joint, restoring and repairing damaged tissue the way your body was designed to heal. If you're tired of the Band-Aid solutions like drugs and steroids and you really want to avoid surgery, you need to check out QC Kinetics. Regenerative, restorative, natural treatments for knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain, and pain in your hips. Don't continue to suffer and don't go in for surgery until you check this out. See if you're a candidate. They have locations in Hollywood Park and Westover Hills. Call QC Kinetics today at 210-571-0318. Non-surgical joint pain relief with lasting results. 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318.
Joel, I love the hunting season.
What's with the outfit, Nigel?
Oh, yes. This is my hunting attire, complete with my bright red jacket, hunting horn. I am the master of the foxhounds.
Wow.
Wow, indeed. I love the tradition of hunting as the hounds chase the fox.
Whoa, Nigel. Hunting is a little different here in Texas.
And like hunting, plumbing, heating, and air conditioner repairs are all about preparation, skill, and having the right equipment.
That's true. And all our quarter moon technicians with a fleet of fully stocked trucks know what to do when plumbing, heat, and AC issues pop up out of nowhere. Nigel, where'd you go?
Joel, can you give me a hand? I can't get my horse down from the deer blind.
Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC. From the outhouse to the penthouse, calls day or night, 651-5899.
License number M13229, TACLA 000743445E.
Tally-ho!
Hey, sports bettors, I'm talking to you. This is Rob Thompson here to tell you about my favorite sports book. That's BetUS. Football's here. You need to be playing it. It's been a great couple of weeks. Why not start now? Well, BetUS is the best place to start because they've been around for 25 years. That's the integrity I'm looking for with the longevity. You need a sports book that offers everything, including live betting, MMA, golf, horses, esports, you name it, they've got it. To join, it's so easy. Call today, 1-800-79-BET-US. Again, 1-800-79-BET-US. And when you dial it, remember this, KZDC. If you tell them KZDC, that's us, you're going to get up to 200% in bonuses on your first deposit. Nobody does that. I bet at BetUS, so should you. I want you to join BetUS.com today. Call them right now. Start betting with America's favorite sportsbook. And remember to use KZDC for up to 200% in bonuses. BetUS.com. It's where the game begins.
This is the place where time stands still. With each down, there's a battle of inches.
How about 83 yards from Prescott to Elliott?
This is San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Don't mind the brake lights. We'll get you there. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. Tomorrow we're going to be live out at Tri-County Meat Market, the Huebner Road location. We'll be out there from 4 to 7 to get you ready for Game 6 of the World Series. Make sure you stop by hungry. There's going to be all kinds of sampling going on in the parking lot there at Tri-County Meat Market. Gulf Coast Smoke is going to be there. Not sure what he's going to be sampling yet, but I know it's going to be good. In fact, I'm about to do some pork chops tonight using Gulf Coast Smoke, the Southern hospitality. Al Fragani is going to be there in his open fire grilling demonstration. He makes these incredible grills that looks like they should be on some of those TV shows, the way they do stuff. And he's got an incredible chimichurri sauce. He kind of blends Argentinian barbecuing along with Texas-style barbecue. It's incredible. K4 is going to be out there. If you go into Tri-County and get some of their prepared stuff, like the twice-baked potatoes, they come from K4. They're going to be there sampling. It's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow out at Tri-County Meat Market. It's going to be a parking lot party. And again, stop by, get whatever you need for your grill. And again, speaking of grilling with the Blitz, every Thursday we give away that $50 gift card to Tri-County Meat Market, the Huebner location. If you did some barbecuing over the weekend, you've got a photo of that beautiful meat that's on your grill. Make sure you upload it at sasportstar.com, and you could be in the running for that $50 gift card. Again, tomorrow, Tri-County Meat Market, the Huebner location from 4 to 7. We will actually, I'm going to be on with Jimenez tomorrow at halftime, so I'll talk to you at noon, then at 4.
Rock the Mic moves into the voting phase. 12 finalists, live auditions, and only one 2021 Rock the Mic winner.
Hi, this is Carolina Teague.